Oh, my camera off. Welcome back to another episode of the Black Bear Podcast. I'm your host with my co-host Mark Rob, Devin, and Chef West at the bottom of the map, except he's not at exactly at the bottom of the map right
Nah.
now. My man traveling right now. But look, the Chicago Bears just won a second game in a row. Can we call it a streak
Mhm.
yet? Or do we gotta wait
I,
till three?
we gotta wait till 3.
I think you got to win away games.
You gotta win a away game before you
Yeah,
That's
hey.
London counts. I don't want to throw that out that one. I'll say London counts as an
It
away.
does. It does. We're gonna travel to London next week, but let's break down this entire game. Me and the fellas gonna give y'all a lot of insight on what happened in our opinions on what happened today. All that and a lot more. Right after this. Sir, we got a full house tonight. It feel good.
That's
Um,
good.
Not only that, but we coming off a W. You see the numbers going across the bottom of the screen. Caleb Williams shined. The Bears offense shined after all of the drama, I should say, that was kind of going on the past 2 weeks. Man, it feels good. It feels good. My guy Destin in there right away waiting on us. Appreciate you in the
Oh,
chat. Fellas. Let's jump. We're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna jump right to it. Let's talk about our initial thoughts of the game without giving too much away. Um, I'll go first. My initial thoughts of this game was it's about time. It's about time. And when I say that, I mean Caleb Williams and the DJ Moore effect. The Caleb Williams DJ Moore connection. I don't know if y'all fellas feel a different way, but I think it's about damn time that came a long way. I told y'all I had a bone to pick with DJ. We didn't have a show yesterday. I was going to do that on that episode because, and I'll talk about it. I'll speak on it a little bit this episode as well. But it's about goddamn time, and this is what we kind of envisioned when we brought Caleb in. We thought this offense would be running how it was today, and it was nice to finally see that on the field for the first time this season. So that's my initial thoughts. Is about damn time for your quarterback and your number one receiver to get on the same page. Initial thoughts, fellas.
Mine is, man, it feel good, man. I don't know if I could be happier, man. It's Christmas in the fall, man. I don't even know, man. I can't even tell how happy I am, man. Just to watch every phase of our team just look just as good as the other one. We always seen our special teams dominate games. We seen our
Yep.
defense dominate games. But for that leather leg, that third wheel, that offense to just go right back with what the defense is doing. Tory
Mm-hmm.
did Tory special team. I mean, dude, it's good, man. And with that whole everybody trying to get us to get that infighting thing, I know what you was gonna talk about. We text about it and all of that.
For sure.
And like I said, he had to make it. He had to make it. He had to make a point to say me and DJ good. Just so y'all know, and if y'all don't believe me, I'm finna show you. And that's what I was talking about. Like even when I text, that's what I was talking about. Like he has to emphasize, like, hey, dude, you is the number one, man. You the man. I ain't forgot you. I ain't forgot you. I'm learning out here. Don't let my learning curves and all of this get in the way of your shine, your 110 mil, bro. I got you. I'm finna make you get that. I'm finna make it worth it. So that's it. So initial thoughts, man, I just feel good, dude. Like God, it just feel good to watch our team play good football.
And some people will try to say it was against the Panthers, but you only can play who on the schedule. Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts.
My thoughts were that it was hard to figure out which part of the team I was excited to see playing, because like some weeks it would be like the defense is really clicking, so you're excited to see the defense get out on the field and see if
Mm-hmm.
they can get like a pick six or something. Some weeks it's the special teams, so you're just waiting to see if Tory Taylor can boot it and pin him down in the 5 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this week it was hard because the offense was clicking, the defense was clicking, the special teams was clicking except for that missed point after attempt by Cairo Santos, which shocked the hell out of me. That offense was not looking like it was 2 weeks ago or even last week. Like it was last week was looking better than it was 2 weeks ago, but this week was literally just like the plays that were being called were the right plays to give us the advantage. I was very impressed.
KYP, man. KYP, Shane Walden. KYP, bro. KY, it's
And it
easy. We've been
it
saying
looks
that.
like he's
KYP,
finally
dude.
K his P.
I don't know. I guess when they mobbed in on that office, man, I would have loved to see it. That should have been a hard knock. So you should have been able to see that little players in there in front of Shane Walden, giving them they man, and Shane Walden saying, "I got you, I got you." And I was scared that he wasn't gonna do it. And it looked like he took it to heart, man, and he heard what they had to say, and just keep it up, fellas. Hey, boss, that's our offense out there, boss.
And
Hey,
I was
let
going to
him.
just address him, but that's why I kept it up there. He talking about, he said, bro, whose offense was that on the field though? Sheesh, hey, that's us. That's us. Like you said, that's our boys. And hopefully they keep it going. Those are our initial thoughts of the game. Now it's time to get into some little more juicy, interesting segment. Our great and not so great. This game was so good. Like I was just telling Devin, this game was so good. It might be hard to find not so great, but there's always some bad in every game. Every game ain't no
we
game is perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Exactly. There's always something they can get
Jared
better
Goff.
at. You
What you
Jared Goff. Jared Goff was perfect. He
I
was.
gotta
He
give him his
did
props,
great
man.
too.
That was a good performance. But yeah,
But see, he didn't even get the game ball now
He didn't
that
even the
game
game ball.
because
That's crazy.
he didn't get the
yep.
game ball because his coach didn't even know that he was perfect.
Mhm.
Anybody want to take the reins on the great and not so great segment? Start it off. Kick us off.
I mean, I can get mine out. I mean, obviously, I gotta get a great to Shane Walden. I
Okay.
gotta give him a great. I gotta give him his ball today. Gotta give him his flowers right now. Don't know, hopefully I can give it to him every week. And like I said, not so great as the small things
Mm-hmm.
that a miss extra point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would like to see Caleb with more completions.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a couple things that looked like, the time is still need to get there, but
Right. Yep.
man, I mean, that's it. That's it. That's it. Door
It was.
closed.
It was.
That's
It
what I'm
was. A,
saying.
it was a good game, right?
Oh God, dude, man. Oh, hey, can't tell you, man.
My
You want to take it?
yeah, my great was the it's kind of like a two-pronged attack there with Billings and Javon Dexter. I have
Ooh.
been I have been liking the way that Dexter has been playing, but Billings has also been playing just as well.
Mm-hmm.
And to see Dexter get in there early for, I think he got half a sack, and I think he got half a sack later on in the game because he's
He
credited
did.
with a total sack.
Mm-hmm.
And Billings get in there, and that sack that he had where he just kept driving Dalton back and then finally took him down, like he probably got a good like extra 5, 6, 7 yards from when he first made the hit, but he made
Mm-hmm.
sure to wrap up his arms so he could not throw that ball away. And that is the textbook of how you sack a quarterback, because nowadays if you hit them, you can't let them stay up long enough to just throw the ball out, because
Yep.
sometimes they can
Mhm.
just, if they're far enough away, they can just throw that ball out and get away from a sack.
And he did
And
that. He avoided a safety by doing that game. So we
Mhm.
seen it.
that, I gotta say, that was really
Mhm.
impressive though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the presence of mind to know where you can plant that foot to get the throw, that was pretty impressive, because I thought for sure that we were going to get 2 points on that one. But my not so great, not much in this game to really pick at. My not so great was Jonathan Owens missing that interception at the tail end of that game. It was right there in his hands, and he almost had it. And see, like I feel bad because like he doesn't get the opportunity to get into the games as
Right.
much on defense. Most of the time it's on special teams. So getting that opportunity, because we were so far ahead and we were giving some of our starters some rest, I really wanted to see him get a pick and really kind of like solidify his status as being a solid backup safety there. And I mean, I feel like he's already done that with the touchdown he had in the first game, but
That scoop and
it would have
score.
been really nice for him to have gotten a pick. But that was really the only thing I could think of for a not so great.
It was a good game, and like I said, it was kind of hard when I was thinking about my not so great, but I definitely found one. Before I go, I do want to say, because I forgot to mention it off the top of the show, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, the Black Bear Podcast. Got the whole squad in the building. Let me put that down so you can see the names. I got Devin to the right of me, Chef West at the bottom of the map. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But look, my great and not so great is they both actually got put in the chat. They both got put in the chat, and I'll pop them up there. My great, like Destin said, the O-line. From without watching the film, like like I normally like I do after the game, just off at first glance, they protected him. That first touchdown to DJ Moore, he started on the left side of the field. He had to get all the way to the right side on an over route. You need protection to hit those. You need protection for those routes to develop. And they protected him today. He had one sack, I think, on the day. I don't know how many QB hits or pressures, but it looked good. At first glance, it looked like they played a much better game than we've seen all season. I don't care who they were facing. They were facing an NFL team out there. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's better edge rushers or D linemen out there, but today they got the job done. That's my great. That O-line, I've been asking for it this whole season. Even in the offseason, I wanted that O-line to look like that because I felt like with time, Caleb can distribute the ball. He don't need all-star wide receivers. He can make DeAndre Carter into something with time. If he got time in the pocket, he can make wide receivers into something. That's my great, the O-line. My not so great came up in the chat too, and I got to just because I was gonna pick a bone with the kid, with the man. DJ dropping that wide open pass. Come on now, Devin. You knew I had to put a
I
pin
had
in
a
that.
feeling that one was yours because
I had to because like I said, I'm not gonna get down on DJ as hard as I would if we was live yesterday, but the behavior by DJ Moore just was rubbing me the wrong way. I'm not off the DJ. I'm not against him in any way, shape, or form. I got ejected out of plenty games while I was playing because of my behavior and my attitude. You get frustrated on the field. You know what I mean? You get frustrated, especially when you're not performing the way you feel you should be performing in the expectations that people got for you. DJ Moore, his behavior as of late, and it's not a big deal, but it's different. I think we can all acknowledge that it's not what we're used to seeing from DJ Moore, especially because when he got paid, me, you, Wes, and me, Devin, and Wes, and then Al, who was on the show, no longer with the show, we all praised him that episode about not being a diva and not doing these things. And then you get paid, and then now they're starting to show up. It's not a big deal. Trust me, I'm not mad at him. He's not on my shit list at all. But
I will say
it's
this game
different.
looked
It's
a little
different.
different though. Like he was over there. They showed him a couple times on the bench, smiling, happy. Even after that dropped pass, because it was like third down, so they went to the bench afterwards. And even after that dropped pass, he was shaking his head, but he still had a smile on his face. It looked like so. It's like he knew he should have had that one, and it sucked, but it at the end of the day, like they were still very dominant, so he was happy and stuff like that. But like
he was very dominant, so he should. Yeah, of course
he
Yeah, he
was.
should have been happy. I mean, how could you not be happy playing like that at home?
That's true.
Everything around you is clicking. I mean, Derrick Rose in the building, Angel
he
Reese in
was.
the building. What's my Anthony Mackie in the building? Like
They
you
had
got celebrities out there. Y'all,
the goaltender from the Blackhawks.
yeah, the
Scott
goalies was
Darling.
there.
They had.
I mean, it was a star-studded event, and they put on a great show.
They did.
It
feels good.
it was good, man. I mean, I ain't felt like that since like the '90s Bulls, just stomping on people. You just can't help but grin. You want to poke fun at everybody else.
See,
Like you
Did you really like when they went for two on that 2 point, like, and that last touchdown they went for two, the 2 point convert, and I'm sitting there
I
like
mean,
that
I
is
ain't
trying to
like it.
like
Yeah, I ain't like it, but I felt like they felt like let's start doing some stuff too. We up.
yeah,
Let's do some
let's
live action
start
drills.
trying some things.
Yeah,
There
let's do
you
some
go.
live action drills, and I like it. And then I gotta say, just in case I don't know how long I'm getting, my man's Book got him a sack today. My
Who?
man Austin Booker got a sack
Oh,
today.
Book.
Yeah,
Did he
he
get
did.
Booker
one?
got a sack. I told you he gonna have four this year. I said
I
four.
was looking through the sacks and I saw him and I was like,
Yeah,
the heck, why, where did I miss that? Like,
he got it on. He got it on Bryce Young. He got it on Bryce Young. He got that motor. I mean,
oh
like.
yeah, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, and he getting out there, man. I want, and the thing about it is, like, what I want to say is, on top of that, what it is like, we still got to understand, like, not only is our quarterback a rookie, but our offense is new. Like, these is all people doing this
Preach.
for the first time together, man. It's the first time they
Preach.
get to do this and be good like this together and be celebrated and everything go the way that they expected and not and it's going to help them more, like even with Shane Walden, like the last 2 weeks. I wanted to talk about that Renzo too. I like how he's been utilizing that offensive line and bringing an extra lineman, bringing Cole Kmet in the backfield. I don't know who was saying that for the last month, like, man, we can use Cole Kmet in that down in that doing
Yeah,
stuff.
man.
Somebody said,
Oh
some
man.
smart guy was talking to, like, bring in an extra lineman, it's going to help. This guy, I don't know what kind of IQ he's got, but I mean, he sounded really intelligent when he said it. But look at the difference it's making. Rojo in there. I know,
Oh man.
my man Rojo had two of them today. I mean,
I
I
I I completely like, dude. We, what we were going through, me and you, back and forth with
yeah.
Khalil Herbert and Rojo. This time that Rojo was getting, I fully expected some victory laps. Fully
Oh yeah, I
expected.
mean, he paired well. I think he paired well with Swift, and like I said, I'm not knocking Herbert or nothing like that, but we seen them working together in the offseason. They. I feel like they've been planning this 1-2 kind of punch thing that they wanted to do. Like they was
Right.
working out together and all this other kind of thing. And it's showing. Like we seen the videos. Remember, we was watching the videos of them in the
Yes,
off
sir.
season, running around, jumping around garbage cans and over blue
Facts.
midgets or whatever they was doing out there, making all that noise. You know, I like it. It's what we need. It remind me of those Jones and Cedric Benson days. Like that 1-2 punch kind of thing. Like we need that. We need on all levels, man. I like it. I want us to build off of it, man. It was like, I don't know, man. I'm
And
just chattering and chopping it. I can't stop talking about it. I want to talk
can't
about.
stop smiling. But
Okay,
hold on.
man. I'm in
So,
Pittsburgh, man. I'm in Pittsburgh.
it,
Justin finna
like I
play in a minute.
like I said at the top of the show, I just want to give a disc. Right, like I said at the top of the show, if you just tuning in, we're
Yeah,
getting some numbers in here.
yeah.
My boy Chef West is traveling right now, so he wanted to just make sure he showed his face, get his points across, and
Mhm.
jump in on the show. Definitely much appreciated. I know you
Yeah,
traveling
I'm
and
gonna
you got a
continue on the
lot going
comments
on.
though. I'm still be in the comments with you guys, but yeah, I'm gonna jump off, find out what I'm gonna need to be doing to get over here to this event. Like I said, I'll be back in AZ early Saturday morning, so I will be on Three the Hard Way as well as next week's
Mm-hmm.
post game show for sure. Sitting on the couch just like I always am. But I said I'm flying. I flew into Atlanta, right? And then I said I'm going to Pittsburgh. I said let me
Right.
fly with my Justin on. If I'm gonna go to Georgia, I gotta put my Justin on. And I'm gonna go to Pittsburgh. Let me walk around in my Justin, man. But hey,
I
fellas, it was a
love
good
it.
win. Obviously, it's always good to see you guys, man. I miss y'all, man. I miss everybody posts, everybody up in the chat. Like I said,
For
I'm gonna still
sure.
be in the chat. I'm still be listening to the show, so I'm gonna be able to throw a word in or two if you could, pop it up there. But other than that, let me just try to figure out what we're gonna have to do because I think it's like an hour, 2 hour drive up the mountain. So, yeah,
For
man,
sure.
it's good seeing you
Handle your
guys,
bit.
man.
Yeah, handle your business, and definitely appreciate you finding the time to just jump in and give your thoughts out real quick. I know you got a lot going on while you're traveling.
Mhm. Yeah. All right,
Um,
fellas, I'm gonna get out of here. Go Bears! I gotta do my Caleb. Go Bears! All right, fellas, y'all have a
I
good one, man.
man,
I'm gonna be watching.
yes, sir.
All right.
Man, yeah. Look, it's been a little minute. I feel like a couple weeks since my guy Chef West was giving his hot takes out there. But yeah, I'm glad you popped it up. Before we get to that one, I want to pop up Benjamin Boss because first of all, I haven't seen him in the chat. I appreciate you jumping in. I think you should stick with us throughout the show. And let's chop it up. We'll get to all the chats and we'll discuss all everything Bears that fans got on their mind. He said, please speak about the man Javon Dexter Sr. Bro showed the fuck up today. Now, if look, last I haven't seen this chat. I don't know if you've been watching. I am not the biggest Javon Dexter fan. My fellas know it on the channel.
I will say you weren't at the beginning of the season, but I would hope that your opinion may have changed by now because like I wasn't the biggest during the offseason, but like the praise that everybody was giving him, I gave him another look when the season was starting. And I'll be real with you, like my opinion on him has shot through the roof. Like he has lived up to what everybody was saying about him.
Why am I not seeing? I'm not seeing any of his numbers for some reason. I know he had some half sacks today, but he's not even.
He also had the fumble recovery. He was the one after Jaquan Brisker.
He did have the fumble recovery, didn't he?
He jumped onto it. I remember that because I was like seeing him way off to the side didn't really make much sense, but it was like he just seemed to want to stick with the play after the ball got out. He was running over there, and then I think it was Jaquan Brisker forced out that fumble, and he was right on it. And I was like, Javon was always around it.
And we don't got all the numbers right now. We got the sack numbers. He had 2 total tackles. He had 1 full sack, 2 half sacks on the day. I'm sure he had some pressures, but like I said, we don't got all the numbers as the night goes on and, everybody do all their analysis. We'll start seeing the pressures and all of that percentages and pass rush win rate, but we seen 99. You know what I mean? We'll get to the numbers, but we saw 99 out there. You didn't need the numbers to know that he was impacting that game. And like I said, I was not the biggest fan of Dexter. I wasn't the biggest fan of Dexter when we drafted him. But I had hope, you know what I mean? Because his size, he gives me DeForest Buckner vibes, All he got to do is play like it. And, man, at that 3-tech, the 3-tech is so important. That's really my issue. The position he's playing, the position we the position we gave him, it's very important for this defense. And I expect a lot out of you when you're playing one of our most important positions on the defense. So, and I just think he hasn't lived up to that. But this season, oh my God, the dude has played a lot better. Now, let me pump the brakes.
He has like 4 sacks though.
I think some people have been trying to say he's playing better than Jalen Carter, and I will not go that far. Jalen, he has more sacks.
Jalen Carter, so.
He has more sacks than Jalen Carter for sure. He got 4 now, right, Devin?
Yeah,
4 sacks.
4 now.
Yeah.
He only had 1 game that he didn't have a sack in.
Benjamin said, "I forgot about Billings." Billings says that pairing. First of all, that pairing is amazing. But yeah, he's not playing better than Carter. He has more sacks than Carter, but Carter is wrecking games at that 3-tech for Philly. I love what I'm seeing from Dexter, Davin. I love what I'm seeing. The arrow is pointing up
every single time in the chat when you're asking about who should I look at for when you're kind of clipping stuff together on the all 22. Almost every single week I say Javon Dexter,
and I was gonna mention that too. Keep going.
I feel like he just he doesn't get as much credit for. Because, even if he's not getting the sacks, he's pushing that pocket up. Him and Billings, the 2 of them together, push that pocket and make it so that you can't step up.
And I was thinking about this during the game. I'm like, damn, Devin has been saying, and if y'all don't know what we're talking about, go ahead and check out the Facebook page, the Black Bear Podcast, break down all the footage and from a single player and to let you decide on if it was good or bad. Lately, it's been a lot of bad. But we've had some viral clips out there.
We've been focusing on that offensive line, and it's been a lot of bad in that offensive line.
Look at my guy, Wes. He said he deserves a spotlight video on the channel. You know what? Like I said, the first clip I released this week will be Javon Dexter. I would start his, And I was just looking, I'm like, okay, it seems like I'm going to really be focusing on like 2 or 3 plays. So I'd be like, okay, I don't want to just focus on 2 or 3 plays. I'll wait until he does more. Today he did a lot. So that's gonna be the first one I release. Like I said, we have some viral videos out there. So go ahead and check those out. The Black Bear Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can go ahead and find those. We got tape on Braxton Jones, Darnell Wright, the entire offensive line for sure. We got some defensive line in there as well. So, but let's just continue. I love the vibes. Victory Sunday is gonna make everybody's Monday a lot better.
See, the win today just cemented this as a great weekend. Like, it just like I'm ready to handle the Tackle Monday as much as anybody else at this point.
Let's move on to our next segment.
Hmm?
Let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend.
Ain't no myth no more.
Caleb Williams, 20 for 29, 304 yards, 1 sack. They kept him clean. He wasn't getting hit over the back of the head today. 5 rushes for 34 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. I was hoping he got the 3. Like I said, Devin, my bold prediction that I was going to put out there yesterday if we had a show going on. 3 touchdowns. I said 3 touchdowns.
He would have if it weren't for that chip blocking penalty that pushed us back 15 yards. He would have had a rushing touchdown, and that would have been your 3. You didn't necessarily say 3 passing touchdowns. You just said 3.
Yep. So, and he rushed. That's the one we were talking about when Kramer clipped the dude. Like I said, it was a bad play. It's a dangerous play. Not a bad play, but it was dangerous. Rightfully so. They threw the flag. Rightfully so. But this is about Caleb. 304 yards, 1 sack, 5 carries, 34 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. He played great, and he continues to do things. And I watched a little bit of Jaden Daniels today. I wish we had more time with Chef West, because I at some point we're gonna have to address the Jaden Daniels conversation that's being talked about all over the league, and even some of the Justin Fields talk. We're gonna have to address that at some point on this channel. We haven't really gotten to it. I want the whole crew here to be here when we address that. But Jaden Daniels had a good game, and you know, he's a Heisman winner, but we got a Heisman too. And he went off today. He continues to make checks at the line of scrimmage, read, call out mics. He's doing stuff that a veteran center should be doing. I don't see many rookie quarterbacks doing what he's doing at the line of scrimmage. And correct me if I'm wrong, chat. If you watch other games of Bo Nix or even Jaden Daniels and you're seeing them make the same type of checks, Caleb has full control of this offense. And you can see it even in past weeks. And even some of the losses, he's doing the same thing. The Bears put a lot on his kid plate. They put a lot on Caleb Williams' plate this year, and he's eating it. He ain't finished the plate. He still got a lot of food to go, but he's eating it. You know what I mean? He got a full belly today, and he balled out. I told y'all, Devin, you and Wes in the offseason, we had many shows, many Saturday shows, and I said what I wanted to see from Caleb. This is before we saw any snap, any preseason, or any of that. What I wanted to see from Caleb was 3-step, 5-step drop. I want the 5-yard out route, the 5-yard slant, the 4 or 5, the 6-yard routes. You know what I mean? Completions. I don't care about the deep passes. Those will come. But what I wanted to see was the same thing that Aaron Rodgers did to us for years. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and you just knew he was slinging to Devontae Adams or just short. He never took more than he needed to take. You know what I mean? I saw that from Caleb again today. 304 yards. He got 2 300-yard games under his belt.
And see, the last time he had 300 yards, it wasn't a win. It wasn't as good of a stat line because there were the 2 interceptions, and they kept saying, like, it kept going around that, like, 300 yards doesn't mean anything if you can't get the win, if you throw interception. Now we got the 300-yard game. We didn't have to throw it 50-something times this game. We only threw it 30 times this game.
Yep.
Not even 30. But like last game to get, or the last 300-yard game, we had to throw it like 52 times in order to get that 363 yards that we had. So this week we threw it 29 and got 304, and it was because there was a good mixture of deep balls as well as like those short little pickups. But then we also had our receivers getting yards after the catch. One of the ones that I remember pretty well was early on in the game, they hit Roma Dunze after about 5 yards in, and he stumbling, he still picks up another like 6 yards after that. Like he catches the ball, and then he is just like trying to keep himself up. And in the process, he gets another like 6 yards and gets the first down. And there were a lot of like pivotal first downs that we were getting with yards after the catch this time around. And that was it. One of the reasons why the game just looked so fluid. Like there weren't people making a lot of like catches and going down right away and stuff like that. They were trying to get more out of it. So that's what made it more fun to watch.
And look, like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, the Black Bear Podcast. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook as well, Twitter as well too. Look, we'll listen to the coach. We'll listen to Caleb speak at the podium. We'll listen to Matt Eberflus speak at the podium. Stick with us. We got a lot to get into when breaking down this game. It was a great game. I know all Bears fans are riding a high right now. I just want to address some of these comments real quick. Alex Ruffin said he's not your average rookie. This is why the install started before the draft, and we heard a lot about that, Devin, in the offseason. The install period started in mini camp, rookie mini camp. You know what I mean? There was the veterans
before he was drafted.
That is true. That is true.
They were talking to him and they were giving him the playbook and stuff like that before they even, like, not necessarily the whole playbook, but like they were giving him some things to work on before he got drafted. Because when you have the number one pick and you know who you're going to pick, there is nothing that can really deter it. So they were already getting him, like he was working with his QB coach, like his personal one, on certain concepts before he even got drafted, because he knew where he was going. Like that, it was pretty much a done deal from the moment that we got rid of Justin Fields, and probably even before that.
And then Alex says he would have been a number one pick if he came out last season. The Bears got their QB, nothing more to address. God 100. Look, and I keep saying this, and I believe this wholeheartedly. And if you disagree, put it in the chat, or Devin, you know, speak up. If the Commanders had the number one pick, they were taking Caleb. If the New England Patriots had the number one pick, they were taking Caleb. You know what I mean? Caleb was going number one. So these people who saying the Bears should have took Jaden Daniels, this and that, and the third, or whatever was going on, and I'm going to keep addressing the Jaden Daniels stuff.
My brother and I were just talking about this today too. The Bears take Jaden Daniels, and everybody is saying Caleb is doing way better and all this other stuff. Like he would have stepped right in and played the way Jaden is in Washington, if not better. And Jaden would be here struggling with our offensive line and having a lot on his plate and all this stuff. So we don't really know what would have happened if, like, I'm not saying, I mean, Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback.
For sure, yes.
And he is going to be successful in this league for a while.
Yes.
And years from now, we will be looking back at this draft class, and like you got Bo Nix, who's looking like he's doing pretty well in Denver. Maybe not necessarily as well as everybody else, but then you have JJ McCarthy, you have Jaden Daniels, you have all these quarterbacks from this draft that, like, they're a draft that they look back and say, okay, all of these quarterbacks that were taken in the first round, only one of them is still like a starter, and only one of them is still really relevant anymore and stuff like that. this draft is going to be seen for a while as one of the best quarterback drafts for a while.
And I think that's the problem, Devin. I think we're so used to like, okay, let's take it back to Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, and Trevor Lawrence. I think we're used to, and you could take it back to Jared Goff and Carson Wentz in that draft. People are used to only one quarterback making it. Like out of there's one guy out of the group and everybody else failed. You know what I mean? That's not the case here. I think Jay Daniels will be good, but I don't think that means Caleb won't be either. Caleb, for me, and I keep talking to Jaden Daniels, Bears fans who love Jaden Daniels. Caleb, to me, fits the Bears more than Jaden Daniels does. I don't think Jaden Daniels would be able to handle this bad O-line. I don't think he would be able to handle. Eventually he would probably, as he develops. But the Bears threw a lot at Caleb right away.
I feel like you run the risk of it turning out just like it did with Justin Fields, where you get him sacked too many times and he starts taking off every single play because he doesn't trust his O-line. And I gotta say, like, our O-line looked a lot better today, but they got to keep improving and be more consistent about that. And then but like Caleb has not once shown a fear of like, okay, I need to start running it a lot more. Like he ran for a few, I think he was our second highest rusher in this game because he had a few decent runs after he scrambled, looked for a pass, didn't find anything, and saw a lane that he could run. But he's not out there like, I believe Daniels today rushed for something like 82, 84 yards. He's not out there doing that because he looks at it as he's a quarterback. It's his job to throw the ball.
Right.
And running for it should only be your last ditch effort on trying to get that first down or trying to get some more yardage or something. And some people, unfortunately, it becomes their main source of how they get yards because they can't trust the people in front of them.
And look, and rightfully so though. If you're getting hit in the back of the head, let me pull this down. You're getting hit in the back of the head. That's what's gonna happen. Remember, we seen Sam Darnold. We heard him say, "I'm seeing ghosts," and now look at him leading the league in touchdowns with a 5-0 team. The situation matters. The situation that Jaden Daniels is in, they're running his same offense, basically, virtually the same offense that he ran in college. So it's a seamless transition for him. Caleb did not run an NFL style offense in college. That's just what it is. That's just what it is for Bears fans who got wandering eyes and want to look over at Jaden Daniels and like, look, Jaden Daniels at LSU ran a pro style offense. He did. And Cliff Kingsbury said, fuck it. Why not take that and bring it to the NFL? And, let him have a seamless transition. Now, they will have to evolve and adapt over there because teams will catch on. But for what they're doing, it's working big time. Now, Caleb don't got that advantage. He does not have that. And I mean, it's football. If we think Caleb is going to be who I think he should be, he has to go through this. You know what I mean? His USC offense was not NFL style. It was not. So he's learning a whole new way of playing football. You know what I mean? On top of playing with faster players instead of future accounts.
And he still needs to, like, he had to learn the whole cadence thing and stuff like that. And throwing that on top of learning a new system, it probably was a lot to throw at him. I mean, but he seems to be picking it up.
He's definitely picking it up, and he's getting more and more comfortable, and that's what I love to see. That's all I wanted to see. The numbers are great. They're a bonus, but I want to see the poise. I want to see the eye test. And like I said, he is quieting the critics. That y'all saw in the thumbnail. He quieted the critics today, and I can't wait for this week of Bears Twitter, Bears social media, because it's going to be a frenzy. Hey, Wes, you snapping in the chat. You are snapping in the chat right now. No training wheels for our guy. None of that. Look, either you that or not. You know what I mean? You are first round.
That's kind of how Chicago has always been. Like they've the biggest thing that like defines Chicago is like they're hardworking people, like blue collar people, and they want they want to see success, and they want like but they appreciate the people that work hard for it.
Yep.
Like when if you work hard, like that's why I think we fall into a rut of looking at the backups and stuff like that, because you start to think about like, okay, this guy, he's worked hard, he's went like right now with Bajan, he was an undrafted rookie at last year, and he worked his way into being the
Yep.
backup for Justin Fields. That is
Mm-hmm.
not common for a Division II undrafted rookie, and he worked hard to show that he deserved to be in that
Oh
spot.
yeah.
And then he
Mm-hmm.
went out there and he played well. Like not great, but like he played well enough to get us a couple wins. He did his job as a backup, made sure that we still stayed competitive during the time when we were waiting for our starter to come back. And so the way that I'm looking at it is like we appreciate somebody that works hard and showing improvement over the course of a few weeks. To me, that is going to show to a lot of the fans that there is hard work being done. You may
Yeah.
not see it because we don't got hard knocks in the building anymore, but there is hard work being done behind the scenes to give us this. Like it is night and day. You look at like his first game, which was only a few weeks ago. Like
Yeah.
we're only
Yep.
in week 5,
Preach.
but you look at his first game, he didn't even have 100 passing yards. He could not find the end zone. He couldn't even sniff the end zone. Like it was a bad showing for him in week 1. And you look at how he just played today, and he was in complete control of the offense.
Yes.
The way they trust him to with reading the defense and stuff
Yep.
to me that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like you trust this guy who's only been in the league for 5 games. You trust this guy to look at the other team's defense, know what they're going to do, or at least anticipate what they might be doing, and be able to execute a different play than what you called as the play caller or whatever. Like you trust this guy. You tell this the offensive line trusts this guy to kind of redirect what they're looking at and stuff like that. Like that usually takes years to kind of get to that status of like, okay, you've been seeing this enough, but you you get there in 5 games. That's to me, that's pretty cool.
That's great. It's progression, week to week progression, and progression isn't always linear. It doesn't always go up like this. But it happens even when sometimes it might take a dip or it goes a little it might plateau a little bit. I want to bring this chat back up with my guy Wes. He said, "Did you hear the old lineman scream? It's hot." And Caleb said, "I got it." I spoke about that with my girlfriend while I was watching it because we all heard it. He was loud. The lineman was loud when he said it. And this is and I have to. I don't like to, but I have to because reality is reality. Last year, Justin Fields went against the Vikings. You know, we know how much they blitz in Minnesota. The first
Damn
play
near
of the game,
50%.
yeah, the first play of the game, a free rusher. This is the very first play of the game last season. We played the Minnesota Vikings. Free rusher comes hot. Just like tonight, the guy was screaming hot. A guy came hot, free rusher, smoked Justin. First play of the game. And I feel like that was the last straw because you can't, as a quarterback, you cannot let free rushers come through. And we saw this with Justin in preseason, his first preseason game against the Bills. Um, Free rusher smoked him. You cannot let free rushers come in like that. You gotta know how to call hot, do this and that in the third, maybe throw it to the zone that he leaves or whatever. Whatever you gotta do it. And Justin couldn't do that. At least he didn't do that at that time. And I feel like that was just like you prep all week for the blitzing, and then the first play of the game, you let a hot man come and smoke you. I'm glad you put that chat in the in chat in there, Wes, because that spoke volumes. That hot man read. Um, Yeah. So you want to give him a grade? You want to give him a grade, or you want to keep because I can go all day on Caleb Williams. Look, I am here for everything. I'm going to, and this is just me. This doesn't speak for anybody, any other hosts on this channel. This is just me. I'm going to coddle Caleb Williams this season. I am going to. Sometimes I might be a little biased, but I know exactly what you need to build, nurture, and develop a quarterback. So sometimes I might go a little easy on them. Sometimes I might put the blame on the O line, or might blame DJ Moore when really, I probably should put some blame on Caleb. I'm going to blame Caleb. Don't get me wrong. Some of the throws he threw today were not on target. You know what I mean? Some of those throws need to be better from Caleb Williams. But guess what? That is the future of this franchise. And I recognize that. And I'm going to go about it like I'm in that front office. You know what I mean? That's how I think they should go about it, because Caleb, nothing should move or shake unless Caleb say so. That's just the way I think. That's the way I think. Devin may not think that way. So chat, don't put it on Devin if you disagree, and don't put it on Wes if you disagree. But that's just how I go about it with Caleb. Let's talk about his grade, Devin. I'll let you go first. Give Caleb Williams a grade: 20 for 29, 304 yards, another 300-yard game, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. He was sacked one time today. My boy not gonna be sore. He's not gonna be sore. What's your grade for Caleb?
I'm gonna go with an A. And it looks like
Yeah, I
Wes
like
down
that.
there. He put his in the chat as well. And
Oh my bad.
personally, it the only reason he doesn't get an A plus was because there were some miscues, like that one that I think it was third down and something or the other, and he rifled one over to where Komet was, and Komet was still running. Like he was still continuing to run, and there was some type of miscommunication between him and Komet. It seemed like he thought Komet was going to kind of like turn, like to go towards the sideline and then
I
turn.
remember that play. Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, that clearly was just some type of miscommunication. And as the quarterback, you should make sure that like everybody is on your same page. Like if he were at like 25 receptions of 29, then I'd be hard pressed to give him much else. But like I feel like he deserves an A for today.
I just want Mama Blues, where you been? We 45 minutes in, you just jumping in. We always appreciate when you could jump in the chat, because whoever, I don't know what's going on over there, but you know what you're talking about when you talk about football. But this week, Mama Blues said, I definitely would not coddle him, but that's cute, Rob. That is funny. Look, you gave him an A. I want to give him an A. We gave him a B last week. I wanted 3 touchdowns out of him today. You know what I mean? I wanted
And
3.
see, like, I mean, I will say he almost had one because Swift got down to that 1 yard line on that
That
on
screen.
that pass
Oh
on that
man, the
screen.
screen.
And that was a nice play. Like the way that he just kept weaving back and forth behind the
Yes.
lineman who was out in front, just kind of like, and I was like, so it would have been so nice if he'd been able to get that touchdown. And 2 touchdowns with 300 yards. Usually
Mhm.
you'd like to see a bit more, especially since a couple of those drives started really deep in their territory because of the fumble recoveries. And so you would like to see a little bit more, because we did have two forced fumble and two fumble recoveries today, as well as an interception. So we got 3 turnovers, and you would like to see a little bit more
For sure.
scoring from the like it when you're sitting there at that 24. And they did have what, like 3 rushing touchdowns today.
We had
I know that
2
Roshan
from,
had
yeah, we had
one.
3. Yeah, we had
I
3.
know Roshan had 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Roshan had 2, and Swift had 1. And Swift, the one for Swift was basically to make up for the fact that he didn't get into the end zone, but he got us down to that 1 yard line. And personally, I can really respect the fact that they went ahead and like ran it with him a couple more times to get him into the end zone because he should have gotten that touchdown. It just
Mm-hmm.
he was just short, and so I respect the fact that they rewarded that effort to get them there with getting them the touchdown too.
And Benjamin Boss, I see you putting grades for the entire units out there. Put your grade in there in the chat for Caleb Williams. I'll give my grade right now. Devin went with an A. This is definitely a good performance. Like I said, I wanted 3 touchdowns, so I'll go with a B plus. I gave him a B last week. I'll give him a B plus for this week. I don't want to go A yet. I know what I'm looking for personally to give him that A, to give him that A
Okay.
grade, and I'm hoping he hits that, especially with all the scrutiny that he faces with this franchise. I want him to quiet the critics. I'm gonna keep saying it. I want him to shut all the critics up and quiet the critics. Um, he made a big step forward today in doing that. I'm gonna go with B plus, almost plus. Just because I don't want to give him an A yet. Ron in the chat, appreciate you jumping in. He said, claws up, bear down. Mama Blues, you got an issue with me today. With that said, he did great today. This is the bar. I will continue to hold him to at least. Don't get into a better team and fold when I can see that you're able to win games, get downs, etc. Okay, I see what Mama Blues is coming from. I get it. Look, you got to keep doing it. Don't give us one game and stop doing it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I guess we can talk about the opponent skill level now. Yeah, the Panthers were a team that this is a get right game. This is a team you get right against. DJ Moore connection. Cole Kmet caught
I
some
mean,
balls.
it's, with DJ Moore, especially as like kind of like a revenge game too in a way. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Carolina throws him into this deal to get their star quarterback that they wanted, and he comes up big in the game against them. But like getting that connection going, like getting. So one of the things that I think that the offensive line should look at is how
Yeah.
well they did this game,
Mm-hmm.
and in the future they can look back to this game as saying like I can do this at this level. Like it's like I'm able to give him time. Like there was one play he had time. Like he was looking through all of his reads and he couldn't find anything. So after a while, he just took off and
Yep.
ran because he couldn't find somebody open to throw to. But like they gave him so much time that I was
Mm-hmm.
sitting there like, what offensive line is out there? Because that is not the Chicago Bears offensive line. It did not look like it did for the first 4 weeks of the season. And it was pretty dang impressive to me.
I agree with everything you just said. It was impressive, and it's just a nice relief. And don't let nobody tell you, oh, they play the Panthers. We can only play who's on our schedule. Best believe if San Fran was coming in this week, we would have played San Fran. We can't just not play San Fran. We got to play who's on our schedule. That's not. We have no power to choose who we play. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with B plus. Devin went with an A for the grades. Look, for those who tuning in, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, the Black Bear Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We stream live on all platforms. We are gonna listen to Coach Matt Eberflus speak. We'll listen to our quarterback Caleb Williams. Got to hear what he got to say about his performance. Then we'll give some game balls, and we'll probably wrap it up out of that after that. Before we do that, let's talk about some of these top performers, Devin. This gives us an opportunity to talk about all players in this game from both sides of the team. And there was some good performers today. Top performers, we'll go through the quarterback, the running back, the best receivers, best defense, and the head coach. Let's start at the quarterback spot. I'll just read. We see what Caleb Williams did going across the bottom of the screen. 20 for 29, 304 yards, 1 sack, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. But Andy Dalton, let's talk about Andy Dalton real quick. He had 18 for 28, 136 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He was also sacked 3 times. I think this was kind of easy, Devin, don't you think?
Yeah, and I mean, granted, like he isn't a terrible quarterback.
No, not by
Like
no, he's not. He's a veteran.
I did feel really bad for Bryce Young with the fact that he got benched for Dalton, and then Dalton came out and had like a 300-yard game and gave the Panthers their first win. And I felt bad for it, but it was a business decision. Like you need to start getting some wins. You need to figure out. And Andy Dalton played like the type of quarterback I kind of expected him to be.
Mm-hmm.
He played this game like I would have expected him to play any other game, and he made a few mistakes. He got sacked a couple times, and if this was his first game as a starting quarterback this year, it would have been a completely different type of scenario and situation and discussion going on with their Dalton versus Young conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the type of game that you expect more often from Dalton than you would like the 300-yard game. Definitely have to give this one to Caleb.
Brandon, appreciate you jumping in the chat. We have not seen you in the chat before, but look, we like to interact with all fans. We put the comments up there. We like to read them out sometimes if they're really good, and we talk about it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, the Black Bear Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us all over. Caleb, I'm going Caleb as well. It's obvious. No turnovers. And like last week, we talked. It was heavily decided on who had the turnovers and who didn't have the turnovers. Right. This week it's kind of easy. The turnovers don't even play a factor. Caleb Williams,
the yards, the completion percentage, the fact that at the end of the game, I mean, the touchdowns alone, the fact that at the end of the game they threw in Bryce Young for the last drive just to get him some more reps because they knew that this game was so out of hand. And when your game is so out of hand that you get swapped out for another quarterback, like because of how far you're down you are, not really seeing the possibility that you deserve that award.
Bear Truth, you finally showed up. We about an hour in. All you've been listening was watching the 49ers. Hey, did they lose? Did the Niners lose? The Packers probably running away with that game right now, too.
Packers are up 24-19.
They just scored. It's 24. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I hope the Packers lose. But look, hey, appreciate you jumping in, Bear Truth. I've been looking for you all day. Mama Blues and West got a little back and forth going on in the chat. Look, for the Bryce Young thing, just want to touch on that real quick before we keep going with our top performers. I'm not out on Bryce Young. I think he was dealt a bad hand, like most number one quarterbacks get dealt, and he's just dealing with it. He's not at the level that Andy Dalton is when it comes to processing the field. That means you have to have better help around these young quarterbacks when you don't have exactly a great team. I don't know where they get off benching anybody. The quarterback, the GM needs to be benched. The owner needs to be benched there. You know what I mean? The head coach needs to be benched. I know they got a new head coach, but he needs to be benched too. Like, you don't just bench Bryce Young and try to act like it was his fault. You know what I mean? You got dogged today. Granted, it's us, the Bears. We're gonna do that to a lot of teams. But you get my point, though, Devin. I'm still in on Bryce Young, and I think this is a blessing in disguise for him. Sit behind somebody like Andy Dalton, like we tried to do with Justin. Sit behind him, learn the game.
And it does look like Dalton is really kind of like trying to be a good mentor to him and stuff like they talked about it, that every time you see Dalton on the sidelines, Bryce Young is right there. They're talking about things and stuff like that. So I think it'll be a good thing for his development, but
I agree.
let's move on to
Go
running
ahead.
back, I guess.
Who you got? Who you thinking? First of all, but let me reel off some numbers for their running back, and this pisses me off. It pissed me off last week, Devin. Um, that we gave up these type of yards. Their running back, Chuba Hubbard, 13 carries. 13 carries. He had 97 yards and a touchdown. I know a lot of people want to pride this defense and they want to give credit to this defense. And yes, they're playing good football. We haven't given up 20 points in a game in the last, 10 games, 8 games? Correct me if I'm
11.
wrong.
I
11?
think it was 11.
Okay.
But
That's good
I will
defense.
say it was 21 points in the last 11 games. And the reason that it wasn't 20 points was because the last game they gave up 21. Like they upped it to 21 plus or something like that. Or they got to 20 or something. Because like last week they had a different number than what they were talking about this week. And they just increased that number because last week it broke the streak of how long we held them to like 19 or under 20.
Rojo getting some love in the chat. Devin, you
Let's be
leaning
real though.
Rojo?
I mean, I really like that the two of them differ so much in their style.
Look at that from
And
West. Look at that chat from West.
and to be honest, I was kind of leaning towards West too because
wow.
With the way that now the problem is with our running back Swift, he also does a great job as a receiver. So
Yes.
his receiving yards factor in to him as a running back. And so that gives him more total yards, I believe, than Hubbard. But like with us utilizing two backs and kind of for different roles, like our running back room as a whole, I would say is better than their running back room for this game.
Okay, so let me read off some numbers real quick, and then we'll give our pick. DeAndre Swift, you see the numbers at the bottom of the screen: 21 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. He also had 2 catches for 47 yards, which set up a 1-yard touchdown for Roshan Johnson, I believe.
No, I think that 1-yard one they gave to him. They gave back to Swift.
Did they end up giving that one on the screen pass? The screen?
Yeah, I can't remember. Like that was the one where he was weaving back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Behind the lineman.
So they did end up giving him his, but I think the big screen pass that he got stopped at the 1, something happened. They tried to give it to him, but something happened like twice, and then they just brought Roshan in, and Roshan took that one. But later on, they made a point to give that touchdown to Swift. I know because I was playing against Swift in fantasy football, so I was like, give it to Roshan, and they gave it to Roshan. I was happy as fuck, but so that's tough. Let me read some. I think I read it already. 13 carries, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. I'll read Rojo numbers because he got some fans out there too for this game. Rojo went 10 carries, 25 yards, 2 touchdowns. The numbers don't just jump off the page, but we all know when we watch that game, Roshan Johnson was way more important than his numbers show. You know what I mean?
Especially in watching previous games where we had multiple attempts to get into the end zone from the 1-yard line, 2-yard line, and we weren't able to make it work. And this game, we did. Like multiple times, Roshan punched it through on that 1-yard line.
Yep.
And I agree exactly with what Mama Blue just said, because eye test wise, when you're not looking at the stats, eye test wise, he is very reliable on that goal line stand. And So as far as like giving one or the other, like it numbers wise, you can't really give it to either one of them, but they do what they needed to do. Like our run game this game was way better than it has been for
Yes.
quite some time, with the exception of last game. Last game was pretty good with the way that Swift played. But this game, our run game was so much better and so much more balanced and stuff like that that it's hard not to just say, yeah, we need to give the our running backs the award for who performed better, because like we towards the end we were running because we were just trying to run out the clock,
Trying to get the clock over with.
and we didn't care about breaking open for a lot of yards or whatever. Like we wanted to like extend the clock, hold on to the ball and stuff like that. It seemed like they were doing that probably about like a third of the way through the fourth quarter. They weren't trying to throw as much because they wanted to keep the clock running.
So are you who you going with for running back? This is a good one. Now and you and Wes got a great case for
I
their
mean,
running back. I'm not gonna. Okay, let me go first then, because I kind of
okay.
just gave it away. I'm going with DeAndre Swift. I'm gonna go with DeAndre Swift. I was pissed. Like I said, you can't keep giving up 100-yard rushing games to these running backs. Last week we gave up not 100, but it's 94, 97, 95. That's 100 to me. I'm not even gonna play with the pennies. But we gave up 100 to Taylor. We gave up 100 to Kyron Williams, and we gave up 100 this week. In my, the way I look at it. But he did have 21 carries. Holy shit. He had 8 less carries than DeAndre Swift, and he had 20 more yards damn near. Oh, wait, this is a good one, actually.
I mean, I was looking at the stats
Okay,
earlier, and
yeah,
I just
y'all right. Yeah.
as much as like I would like to factor in the win and everything like that,
Yep, you right.
if you're looking at stats and like he as far as running backs go, he had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only way that to me Swift edges him out is the fact that Swift had the receiving yards, and with his receiving yards, he he beats out he beats out Hubbard clearly, because he is a dual threat with in that running back slot. And the fact that he did have an amazing block that they called holding on, and
Yep.
I still don't agree with that hold. Like I didn't see anything in the replay that they were looking at. Maybe he reached up and grabbed the jersey like a little bit, but if if you can see that as a ref, and you have to be like watching it frame by frame in slow motion to actually see that, there's no
Right.
way that you actually saw it.
I'm
I don't
I'm
know.
I'm
Like
with you, Devin.
it's really, this one is probably the toughest one we're gonna have all the whole time.
The whole night, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a switch. I was gonna go DeAndre Swift, but when I look, 21 carry,
he was
DeAndre
very dependable
Swift.
for him this game.
DeAndre Swift averaged 3.5 yards per carry. Chuba Hubbard averaged 7.5.
7.5 is a heck of a lot. I mean, that like
Yes.
you give him 2 carries and you've got yourself a first down and then some.
Yes.
And you just, if you keep doing that, you march your way down the field if the other team can't stop you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chuba Hubbard. I'm gonna go with Chuba Hubbard.
Unfortunately, that's where I'm gonna have to go to.
Let's move on to our receivers. And this one, you see DJ Moore's numbers going across the bottom of the screen. 5 catches, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His per catch average was 21 yards per catch. His long was 34 yards today, which was on that deep touchdown that we saw. Yeah, Wes. I was gonna go with Swift until you jumped in the chat and let me know I need to take a deeper look at what's his name, Chuba Hubbard. But for receivers, I don't think it's close. You see DJ Moore's numbers. Their best wide receiver was Jalen Coker. I'm gonna say
I
Jalen
think
Coker. He had.
he's their rookie wide receiver.
Oh, is he a rookie?
Yeah, they said
We
they made
didn't
a
look at
comment
him
about it
this
earlier
offseason.
on, and like I was like, oh well, like he didn't really start doing much until like later in the game too.
Oh, kind of like when Bryce Young came in.
No, I'm talking like he started to kind of like catch his groove maybe like mid to late second quarter, and I'm guessing that he started to make catches, and so once you start making catches, you start seeing that like the quarterback starts seeing them when they're open
Yeah,
because now they kind of have a bit more trust for them.
a little more rhythm.
Yeah,
Okay, so look, Jalen Coker had 4 catches, 68 yards. But like I said, you see DJ Moore down there, and West put it in the chat. Go DJ. That's my DJ. 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. You can't argue with it. I'm going with DJ Moore. Keep it quick and simple. DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. I mean, he's been one of my favorite receivers since we got him, and like I think that all of our receivers did well today.
For
Like
sure.
Keenan Allen was pivotal on a few of those plays that all we needed to do is pick up a few yards to make it third and more manageable instead of third and long. And Cole Kmet had that like deep pass that I wasn't even expecting that it was Cole Kmet that was out there. And that one was pretty good. And see, the good thing about it is that like you look at the number of receptions and it's not a lot. Like nobody had like 10 plus receptions or anything. Like we're looking at people that have 5, 7, 6, whatever the case may be, and they're producing well with those small number of receptions. And there were a decent number of yards after the catch. And I mean, DJ had 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
You can't really argue that any other receiver was better. Like touchdowns score you a lot in my book. So
Pay dirt. It's called pay dirt. And look, he said it in the chat. My guy West said it in the chat. Go DJ. That's my DJ.
Say go DJ, cause that's my DJ. Say go DJ, cause that's my DJ.
Show him a little bit of love just because I was on him. Like I said, I didn't like his behavior. Of course, he's gonna smile when he's scoring touchdowns, but you got a rookie quarterback. Don't show up your quarterback. Yes, it's little. Maybe he didn't mean it. This and that and the third. But me personally, it was not the same last year with Justin Fields. Even when we started 0-4 last year, it was not the same with Justin Fields. So, like I said, I love DJ Moore, but I'm gonna call everything out and everybody out when I see it and it rubs me the wrong way. And that rubbed me the wrong way. But he responded. And he gets our best wide receiver award. Let's move on. Top performers, our defense. And this is another easy one. We had 3 takeaways. Now, look, we all know when you run this defense, this goes back to the Lovie Smith era. You need 3 takeaways, right? You need to hold your running back to under 100 yards. You want to hold the quarterback to under, I want to say 200 yards. I want to say quarterback to under 200 yards. And they did that, I think.
Technically, they did hold the running back to under 100, but just barely. And like you said, you still look at it as 100. But like they could not. I mean, we got 300 yards in the air. You add up all our rushing yards, and you did not prevent 100 rushing yards. So their defense did not hold us. Their defense did not make any takeaways. And I mean, I'm going to give it to the Bears, but one of the people I want to point out in particular is Kevin Byard with the interception that he had, his first with the Chicago Bears, but also the fact that he led the team in tackles today. He had 5 tackles, I
Oh
believe,
yeah, he did, didn't he?
and I believe one of them was assisted. And then Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards were both tied for second with 4 tackles. And just the fact that your safety is making the tackles when, let's be real, last year that was our biggest problem area. Like Eddie Jackson was not making tackle. Like he was at the bottom of the team in like as far as like the starters and tackles and stuff like that. And our defense was struggling because when somebody would get an open, would be out there for the open field, he would like throw his arm out and try to take him down with like a clothesline or something. All they would do is just kind of like run through it and keep going, and he gave up on the play after that.
Yep.
And seeing the difference in how Byard is doing has been great. So that's why I'm very
Especially
excited
because
to see his game.
Byard took some heat, and people, thought call him old, this and that, and the third. But if you listen to Byard speak, he's a leader. He's a leader on his team, and I know I'm lagging a little bit, but he's a leader on his team, and we need him. We need Mercedes Lewis too in that locker room. He's part of that leadership council, and then a bunch of other guys. But I'm glad you pinpointed him because he that interception, that was a great interception. That was a good interception for a safety. Did we talk about the sacks? Did you say how many sacks we had? And then look, West coming in with Brisker almost died making that fumble. Yes, I was talking about it with my lady while we was watching the game. It was a little scary. He got up, and I'm sure he was still a little shaken up, Jaquan Brisker, but he knew damn well. And people who play, when you play football, you don't want to come out the game. You're going to hide your injuries. You're going to hide this and that and the third. Jaquan Brisker was shaking up after that hit, just like the dude he hit and made him fumble. So he's good. He was good. He finished the game out. The dude didn't finish the game out, and he left the damn, Devin. Like you come with some I could have just looked at my phone and saw that Green Bay won. God,
I've had the Green Bay game going on in the background here, so
of course they won.
4th and 3, and LA could not convert. So I guess Green Bay's gonna end up winning.
Green Bay won that game. So look, the 3 takeaways, like I said, we got the interception and the 2 forced fumbles. Brisker forced one. Who forced the other fumble? I don't remember.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Oh yeah, because he was running.
That was the one where they had to look at it because they weren't entirely sure if he maintained control, but he went to that 3rd step, and then Tremaine just came in and punt, and it definitely reminded me of the peanut punch. And
what for sure?
Like it just came in there and he nailed the ball right with his fist, and it just popped right out. And I definitely agree with Mama Blues. Dexter was everywhere. He was supposed to be on the line, and he jumped on a forced fumble that Brisker had, and that was nowhere near where the line should have been. But he was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and follow that ball at this point.
Not giving up on plays, keeping going, keep moving. Even if you're beat, keep running. That D line is very helpful and stuff like that, especially on screen plays. My guy Wes said, fellas, everybody we said we needed to see showed up today, and they did. You right. That's really 100% correct. Wes.
Early part of the game, I remember hearing TJ Edwards' name a lot because he was making some good tackles, stopping them without letting them get that first down and stuff like that. And Tremaine Edmonds was out there doing his thing, and it really just seemed like a lot of people played so well that it was like a whole team effort. And that's what I like to see, because it is a team sport. Yes, you have your individual statistics, but at the end of the day, like
you need all 11. You need all 11 every time.
Most of the sacks that we had today were multiple people getting half a sack from it. Like,
yes, sir.
We had Uh, Billings got a sack. Javon Dexter got 2 half sacks. Demarcus Walker got a half a sack. I know
Yep.
somebody else there had to have gotten another half
Kyler got a
because
half.
Kyler got a half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that I mean, because like I was looking at the stats earlier and I was trying to figure out like I knew that Dexter had a half, and so there
Yep.
might even be another half floating around somewhere. But it was just like it was good to see that everybody was out there, like everything was clicking. Yes, yes, Wes. It looked like all 53 players were out there. The people, like everybody was out there doing like what they needed to do. And that's why we had the dominant game that we did.
Yep.
Sure, you could argue that it was against the Panthers, but honestly, if you take the same game that we played today, I say like, and you put it up against other teams, I could argue that we win most of the games against other teams if we play the way we did today.
And if we lose, guess what? The sky will be fucking falling. So you got it. You know what I mean? So people can say it's against the Panthers. Guess what? We would if we would have lost that game, we would be getting dogged for it. You know what I mean? Bear Truth
Well,
said
but
we
like
just gotta say
the
it.
the Panthers won it a couple games ago. I can't remember who they beat, but
Yeah. Andy Dalton's first
it's a
start.
week by week league. Like you have ups and downs for players, teams, whatever. Like sometimes you're just clicking.
Yep.
And so once you focus in on who you got for that week, focus on that and drown out all the other noise. Like don't let it worry you about, and don't ever, and this is, I have been big on this for every sport I ever watch. Don't let how a team played previously affect how you prepare for that next game, because you do not want to be out there trying to change how you play and stuff like that and go
Right.
easy on a team and not prepare as hard.
Yep. That's a great point because teams play down to their opponent's strengths all the time. Bear True said, I mean, bro, weak team or not, Caleb looks like a true number one pick, and I agree. And I saw it from and this may sound like blowing smoke, but I saw it week one. Not gonna lie. It was all it was all about the poise in the pocket and the way he handled the offense, the control he had over the offense. I thought that, from the jump, week one against the Tennessee Titans, it didn't look good. I didn't care about the numbers. Like I said, the O-line was letting him down. And I feel like people who wanted Roma Dunze, rightfully so, Roma Dunze is a great player, and I think he'll be a great player for the Chicago Bears. But at the time, the way I looked at it was Jared Goff has Amon-Ra St. Brown and what's his name? Sam Laporta at the tight end. But guess what else he has? A stout O-line, a top 3 O-line. If you want to call it the best, I wouldn't argue with you. He's making plays with that great O-line without the 3 or 4 all-star wide receivers. He's turning guys into Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill, and he got a bunch of 3 or 4 different wide receivers coming in and out every year. But guess what? He's making those receivers better. The receivers aren't making him better. He's making them better. Let's get into this last one, the head coach. And it's pretty simple. Let me get that off the screen. And I actually got to sneeze as well. 1 second.
I think that this is going to be pretty simple, and we've boiled it down before that you can't give it to the losing head coach, especially not in a 36-10 game. Like when you dominate a team like this, there's nobody else you really can give it to.
Mama Blue, do you see what I'm seeing? Like, I don't know what Mama Blues, look, we used to be on the same page. I don't know what you done left a couple weeks and came back, and now you don't agree with nothing I'm saying. I don't know, but you might be right. It may just because he's doing things that I didn't see from Justin. You might be right. I'm not gonna cap like like you're not. But look, Devin just said it. You lose the game, you don't get head coach of the game. You win the game. I don't care how it looked, sloppy, dirty, or whatever. You win the game, you get head coach, and I think we agree on that, right, Devin?
I mean, personally, I thought the game played out really well. Like the defense did what they were supposed to do in their coverages and stuff like that. There were definitely a couple of missteps and stuff, and
For sure.
with the fact that Matt calls the defense, he's also in charge of being able to be aware of what's going on. But he made sure that, like, I don't know, like we won the game and we didn't let them score. Like even with them being able to rush for, I mean, one running back that runs for almost 100 yards, they still only got 10 points. Like,
Wes. No, you got more to say. You got more to say, Devin?
No.
Wes, yes, you are correct. It does say coach, not head coach, but come on now. When we know who's the face of the coaching staff, it all lies at the head coach's feet. Win, lose, or draw, just like the quarterback, it lands at, like, let's see, you said you're giving it to Shane. You can give it to Shane, but guess who employs Shane? Guess who pays?
Ryan Poles.
Ryan Poles pays him, but Shane ain't here if Eberflus don't want him to be here. It's just that simple. That's Eberflus' staff. Head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams, which I don't have up here. We don't do special teams, but Eberflus gets the credit for all of that. Just like the quarterback gets credit for wins and losses sometimes. That's just how it goes. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. That we all work for. We got a boss that we make our boss look good when he goes into his corporate meetings. You know what I mean? We make him look good, and that's how that goes. So, you're right though, Wes. You're definitely right for sure. I agree. Waldron had that offense humming today, but we ain't giving it to assistant coaches. You got to be a damn good assistant coach to get that award over the head coach. In my opinion, that's in my opinion. Devin, you may feel different. Wes, you as well. But that's just what I think. You got to be a damn good assistant coach to get that award over the man who brought you here and gave you that opportunity. So I'm gonna go with Flus. Devin, you going with Flus? I'm assuming as well. Like I said, so we're gonna listen to Caleb. We're gonna listen to head coach speak, Flus speak right away. Then we'll listen to Caleb, and then we'll give out some game balls, and we'll wrap this up. We got Matt Eberflus ready to speak now. Let me change this banner at the bottom. I don't want copyright. I don't want none of that going on. So let me make sure I give credit where it's due. The Chicago Bears get credit for this video. If you want to watch it, if you can't hear it, if it's lagging, if I'm talking too much or Devin's talking too much, you can find it on the chicagobears.com as well as YouTube, Chicago Bears YouTube channel. You can find this as well. We just like to play it and give our thoughts on it as well. Matt Eberflus, here he goes.
So today, just got out of the locker room and really just visited with the players about the all together and playing complementary football. And that's been the focus for the last couple of weeks, being able to do that. You know, complementary football is a big thing, and that's really just working off each other, right? Takeaways, scoring on those. We had 3 takeaways today to 0, which is a good number. We scored 16 points off of that. I thought the kicking game did a nice job of scoring points when they had to and setting field position. You know, it was windy out there today, so you know the punt game for sure. Punting the one way was an issue. You know, kicking towards our tunnel was better. You know, so there's a lot of things that our cover teams did a nice job of as well. But I was pleased with the offense, the way they operated. You know, for the offensive side, we really talked about being clean. in terms of the penalties early in the game like we had last week. So the guys were operationally were better there. I know it didn't start out exactly the way they wanted it, but
Delicious taste, delicate bubbles, distinctly La Marca Prosecco.
But they did well. Quarterback was clean. Took one sack. I had a quarterback rating of 126. And that's good quarterbacking. It just is. It's finding the completions, taking the shots down the field. We wanted to get our receivers, involved today, and we did that. Cole's been involved. Got G involved. We got everybody involved in the passing game. So I think that's really good to be able to distribute that, play point guard, and be able to do that. Hard to defend that way. So defensively, the guys that had the sacks, the 4-to-1 sack ratio against our opponent today was obviously big for us. That's a big thing for us. And I thought that was really good. And some of those, we caught some takeaways, in those critical moments, and guys have done a good job with that. I was really proud of the guys that recovered those fumbles, because to get a recovered fumble, you have to be hustling the way we do it. It just doesn't show up, because we expect everybody to punch at the ball. And then when the ball comes out, that person's hustling because he anticipated that ball was going to be there. And it doesn't happen, but only a couple times a game. So you have to be going, and I'm proud of the guys that way. So a couple other things, I thought the offense did a good job of using the roster, different guys in different spots. I think that's really, really good, really creative by Shane. We, we're up tempo at times, really creative by Shane. Not necessarily snapping it fast, but being on the ball, IDing the defense. They obviously had some injuries over there at the linebacker position, so it's very hard to communicate when you have young people over there, new people in there communicating. So I thought that was good tactically by Shane. It was really good. In terms of what's ruled out, we'll see where he is. It's an ankle. I don't know that yet. Bill Murray stepped in, did a really nice job stepping in there from what I saw. Again, I got to look at the tape, but it looked like he was physical. He was sound in there in terms of fundamentals. Matt had to go to the other side, which he did a good job with that. He had to do that last week as well. And then the ejection, Matt Pryor got ejected, and he knows he can't do that. Obviously we got to keep our water temperature to a lukewarm to hot, but not boiling. And sometimes that happens in that game. It's a physical game, and sometimes that dial starts to get turned up, and you got to be able to have self-control and turn it down. And that's all it is. It's not that big of a deal, but he knows that he's got to be better in that particular moment. With that, I'll take questions.
You guys talked last week about how you didn't want to take negative plays, and Caleb goes out and goes 15 for 15 for in short range. You talked this week about taking advantage deep when you can. He goes out and has 2 deep touchdown passes. What's it say about his ability week by week to kind of answer the call that you guys are very clear about, both with him and to us, about what he needs to?
Yeah, he knows that this is his first year, doing this, and he's gonna face a lot of different things, different looks, different defenses, different coverages. Knowing his guys, know what he can do and can't do, but still keep everything in there where he's good quarterbacking, and he's just learning and growing, and you can see that during the course of these games that we've had, and he needs to continue to grow. He knows that. So he's just got to level up, keep leveling up. And every time we've challenged him, he's done that ever since the summer, learning the offense, coming back better, all the way through training camp. And now the season just getting better and better every single week.
I love what I'm hearing from coach.
And really, that's just continuity, time on task, good communication with the offensive coaches, with everybody. And again, I told the guys there's just because of the score was the score today, there's a lot of things to learn from that tape. The performance is the performance. The performance is over.
And we said that too, Devin. It's a lot
what
to
can
work
we
on.
take from that to get better? Let's partner up with your leaders in your unit, okay, and also your coaches to make sure that we're getting better on the things we need to get better at. And that's any case, win, lose, or draw.
What did the first touchdown do for the sideline? You guys hadn't scored a lot in the first quarter. You were down quick. What did that do just emotionally?
Yeah, I think it was exciting. Our guys are pulling for each other. We got a tight group. They are tight. They're always there for each other, in times of adversity, in times of success, and then turning the page to the next play. And that's what they do. So they did that today.
Matt, what's your sense of the significance for DJ of capitalizing on a couple of those big opportunities to put in the end zone?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And we've seen him in practice, so, I always tell guys, you'll see it on the practice field before you see it in the game. And we've seen those, and they've made some good connections over the last couple of weeks, and we were just waiting for it, and got the coverage we wanted and worked out.
I don't think we've asked you, what was behind the decision to have 3 practices in London as opposed to their teams who go in later?
Sure.
And practice at home. Why do you want to do it?
Yeah, just to get over there and get our clocks right. That's
talking
the big
about London,
science part of it.
Jazz
I went to
London
Italy this summer, and I'll tell you, it takes you a couple days to get there. So I'm all in for that. And but yeah, that's all it was. Just the science of it. We're going to go there Wednesday. We'll go there Monday, get there Tuesday morning. The players have their day off that day, which is normal. Then they'll bring them back in on Wednesday, and we'll have a walkthrough practice to get their bodies ready to go. And then from there will be normal business operation there. Thursday will be our normal first, second, and third. Friday will be our red zone day. Saturday will be the walkthrough, and then Sunday we'll play the game.
Bears usually go over there on Friday.
Often your goal line back, is that more to reward him on the 42-yard or right after the 42-yard catch?
Yeah, we just, you have certain players for certain things, and we like him on that particular one. So it just comes down to the skill sets that we like for that particular operation or that particular play.
Explanation on the clipping.
What's that?
Explanation on the clipping.
Yeah, they said it was clipping. That's what
it was.
Said. I got to take a look at it. I don't know that much about it right now.
You saw a clipping.
I haven't seen that in quite some time. I haven't had players ejected like that. I don't think so. You can look it up, Pat, but I don't think I have. So,
Matt, what was the reasoning for going for the 2-point that came in?
Yeah, that was the chart. That was it. I thought I liked the idea better from the 1. If they would have moved it up there, but would they offset and put it back at the 2? But that's what it was.
What is it for you guys to control a game like you did today against an opponent that you probably should control?
Well, it comes down to, it's all about us. When you really think about it, it's all about us, and I was proud of the guys, the way they focused in to get better, going all the way back to Monday. What can we improve on? What can we get better at? And how do we win this particular game? So the starting fast was a big part of it. And we hit that right away with the guys, and that's execution. You can't put yourself behind the sticks like we did last week, having a 1st and 15 and 2nd and longs. And all
we
that
didn't
stuff.
talk about those.
And we did a little bit of that in the second half. They started out a little bit like that. There's some penalties, got us behind the sticks. And it's hard to operate that way as an offense when you get those holding penalties and put you back. So, but for the most part, it was good. That was a good operation today.
Coach, you've been getting better every week. I know that's exactly what a coaching staff would like to see. How satisfied have you been with the way the team is building, getting stronger?
Yeah, I said it in training camp. I trust these guys. Man, the leadership is strong. That's why I got 8 captains. I never thought I would ever do that, but man, those guys are strong.
8
and there's a lot of other strong leaders, in each unit and the special team. So they've been building their relationship, building it tight, so we know we're going to go through adversity during the season. But I'm happy for the guys the way they've operated here. And again, every week's a challenge. And so we're going to enjoy this for 24 hours, and then we're going to get to the next one.
Coach Matt Eberflus. Like I said, we got Caleb coming up next. Then we'll give out some game balls, and then we'll wrap this up. I just want to speak on a few things that I just thought about while Coach was speaking. One of them being, and I'm gonna get some lagging here. One of them being, and Devin, you just let me know how bad or how good it is. We talked about it in the chat, Devin, Tory Taylor, and they didn't mention Tory Taylor at all this week. And when speaking to Matt Eberflus, and I kind of noticed that, but they were all over him last week, and we talked about it in the chat, and I said I need it every time. You remember? And then you were like, now Bears fans come to expect that, and we should, because 4th round pick as a punter, I love Tory Taylor, right? But that is a high pick for a punter. That is a high pick. Now to own up to that, remember, I don't know if Brian Urlacher didn't think Devin Hester should be a Hall of Famer. This is Brian Urlacher, his teammate. You can quote me on it and go ahead and search YouTube and find it. But Brian Urlacher didn't think Hester should be a Hall of Famer because he said what are you touching the ball 5 times a game? 6 times a game? You know what I mean? We need it every time. I need inside the 10, inside the 15 every time throughout your career here, because I don't think he's going anywhere. I need to see it almost every time to justify your pick in the 4th round. You know what I mean? You're a good player. You're a great weapon. Last week you were NFC special teams player of the week, but I need to see it every time. You know what I mean, Devin? What you think about that?
I will say I did notice that like one of the things that he's usually good at is his hang time. He kicks it high. But it was windy down here in up here in Chicago area.
Oh, it was
like
so
it was
windy.
pretty windy today. Like when I was getting ready to head out to watch the game, it was like I saw like some branches down and stuff, and so it was pretty windy out here today. And to me, it may just be a situation that like the one of the punts that I thought it went pretty high and then it fell a lot shorter than I would have expected.
It dropped. Yeah.
It dropped. And I feel like maybe give him some time and he'll figure out how to get those punts to go where he needs them to go, even with the wind. Like you're going to be playing a lot of your games.
I think he already knows how to do that.
I mean, but like the wind here is different than like it would be in like Iowa. So, I mean, not too much, but with us being right off the lake, it is a bit different. We do get a bit more wind and stuff like that. So, I say you give him a couple games of like windy games for him to really figure out, okay, when the wind is doing this and blowing into me, I have to do this to get the punts to go, like get good punts. But like his punts were like later on in the game. The first couple of them weren't so great, but later on into the game, they were a lot better and they were getting them pretty deep. And it's like, okay, that's what we need from you. And sometimes I get it that like Bears fans, when they see something they like, immediately start to expect it, no matter how much came before. Like you may have had. And so, like, the disappointing thing is that I noticed was we will never have a game where we get the offensive, special teams, and defensive players of the week, because in order to get that special teams player of the week, the offense has to be really rough, that we're punting so many times. In order
either
to get
that or DeAndre Carter goes for take a punt to the house or something.
I mean, in a situation like that, but then the offense isn't out there if he takes one to the house. And so if the offense isn't out there, they're not going to get the stats to necessarily get any offensive players of the week. I don't see us getting offensive player of the week even on a week like this, because you go and have Kirk Cousins throw for 500 yards on Thursday Night Football. I don't see anybody else getting it besides Kirk Cousins.
Like, in the NFC, there's definitely going to Kirk Cousins.
500 yards was
that was insane, wasn't it? Watching that game,
he had like almost 300 in the first half.
Man, and then Darnell Mooney, and I'm forced to do it, Devin. I don't like to do it, but I have to. This is what we do. This is the I want to say business, but we're not getting paid for this. We're doing this because we love our team. This is what we do, so we have to bring it up. Darnell Mooney struggled last year. Darnell Mooney should be on this team. He should still be in Chicago, but they didn't pay him because of his season last year. And we all knew Darnell Mooney.
To be fair, it wasn't just last year. Like his season the year before wasn't great. It wasn't as bad as last year, but it wasn't like top tier caliber or anything like that.
No, it wasn't spectacular because he's not a true number one, but it was better. You know what I mean? When DJ Moore came, Justin locked on to DJ Moore, and he forgot about he forgot Darnell Mooney had 1,000 yards with him too. that was my biggest thing about drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. I know this is off topic, but that was my biggest thing. Is like, can Justin really spread the ball around for real and give everybody the targets? Darnell Mooney was balling, but like I was my point was that you you have to
Well, it looks like we lost Mark there. Sometimes that happens when he's pulling up the press conferences, and but I mean, I get what he was trying to say. Like, Darnell Mooney did well on Thursday Night Football, and as much as last year I placed some blame on Mooney as well for not giving teams the problems that you can't double team DJ. Like last year, if teams double teamed DJ, you didn't have Darnell Mooney out there lighting a team up. So, like, he struggled last in not being the number one.
I missed that. I missed what you were saying. My bad.
Yeah, I was
my bad,
just going over that,
audience.
But figured you got kicked out because sometimes you get a little laggy when you pull up the press conference.
When I pull up the press, yeah. But my point, what I was saying, you have to spread that ball around, and basically, you know, we saw that happen today. We saw that happen with Kirk Cousins.
Get into that too, because with the way that we played today, it shows that we can have a successful wide receiver room and give people, like, nobody's necessarily going to go off for like 200 yards, but the threat is always there. That threat of somebody going off, and you just don't have the option of who you can guard because you got to guard everybody. And I like that for the Bears. Like, it offers this big, huge, release of pressure on pretty much everybody, that they don't have to be going off for 200, 300 yards per game in order to get a win. They just got to do their part, and then we can handle the rest later.
And like I said, people keep saying the Bears don't got an identity. What is our identity? And Wes, you've been on fire in the chat. You've been, all the takes you've been putting in the chat. I wish you was on screen right now. I know I know you're busy. You're traveling. You got to handle life things, and that's okay. We all got things to handle. But Wes is he's been on point. But like I was saying, you have to I did not want to draft Marvin Harrison because of that simple fact. I didn't believe Justin was that type to boom, 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 boom again, and then I'm gonna do it again, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Give everybody chances to eat. I just didn't believe that, and that's okay. I got Caleb Williams coming up. Devin, if you got anything else you want to mention as I bring him up, just give me a little bit of time. I'll take the quarterback in here. Hang on a second. Guess who's back? I ain't seen him all day. Put in Bajent. We win 50-7. Oh my gosh. But see, Devin,
I'm really surprised because Bajent must play defense if he was gonna hold them to 3 less points.
But Devin, so there's people like this that spoke like this about Justin, and they wanted Caleb before Caleb even took a snap in the NFL. This was the type of rhetoric that was surrounding Justin, and these type of fans are just. I'm gonna just say it, Judah. I appreciate you in the chat, but you're an idiot. You are. You're an idiot sometimes, and most of the time you're an idiot. I don't like what you say about my quarterback, and it's not, when you speak on my quarterback, it's not football. It's not football. It's like you're not watching the tape. The kid just went off today. I don't care if you like him, hate him, love him, or whatever. You can't deny what you saw on that field today. And it goes for Jaden Daniels or I mean, who's a hated quarterback, Devin? Baker Mayfield. You just can't. There's some things that you can't, deny. So I won't even play too much into what he's trying to do. Ron said Caleb is getting better. Yes, he is, and Caleb is coming up now. I got him up now. The man, the myth, the legend, Caleb Williams. You got before I play, Devin. You got anything else you want to say? You want to address Judah or any weird rhetoric surrounding our team? Caleb Williams, people.
Everybody's commenting on how the win is such a factor today, and like, just how did that affect the passing game?
How's everybody doing? I'm good. Yeah, so the win today was weird because at certain times it was blowing that, but the opposite side was this way. When we had TV timeouts or anything like that, I would spray the water bottle to figure out how aggressive the wind was and things like that. Through as soon as I was throwing it, I could feel the gust of wind, and it just kind of took the ball.
Devin, can you hear what he's saying? I know it's lagging a little bit.
The speed out and because it ended up being behind them, and it was different things like that. But I think cutting through the wind and things like that, I don't think I've had too many issues of dealing with that. But it was definitely a factor of understanding the wind and things like that.
We talked this week about how going deep was kind of the next step after we were really efficient.
Yep.
Judah, you go up there and you faced a press conference, I guarantee you wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah, when you're able to be efficient down the field, and
come on now,
obviously we had to cold down the sideline, a couple screens and things like that, and playing well with each other of short passes, good runs, check downs. I think it won. Limits kind of what defenses can do in a sense of, when you're hitting on different things. Now the defense is just trying to scramble and, trying to figure it out. And when you're being consistent, how we were today with the run game and obviously with the pass game and hit some explosive plays that does good for the whole football team. It keeps us on the football field, being efficient. And then when you have those big plays, the momentum swings and things like that, it's so it's great for the football team and having those momentum swings and being able to keep it with the team that we have in defense and special teams and offense. Us playing together and playing like that, you're gonna win a lot of games.
You mentioned that touchdown that you hit DJ. He said that you guys were waiting on one like that. First, what did you see in the match that you singled out? And second, how bad did you want to hit one of those for him?
Yeah, I've been wanting to hit one of those. DJ is such a special player, and y'all saw it today. Him making plays. I think at one point he was 100 and something for a couple catches and things like that. So having a special player like that in your team, you obviously want to give him the ball, let him just be DJ and be special. So it felt really good. We were super excited. We get to the sideline. We both finally we were able to hit something like that. So the coverage pushed over when I made the check to the right side. DJ did a good job keeping it skinny, getting on the DB's toes and then keeping it skinny. I saw the safety push over right before the snap when that happened. And they were adjusting to, my check that I made, and then saw it happen. Safety pushed over, and then DJ obviously did a great job and made a great catch.
Just got out of the locker room and really just visited with the players about the all together. And
why are they playing Matt
the all together
in the middle of Caleb Williams speaking? Let me fix it. Devin, if you wanna just call out Judah real quick, that'd be great. Let me fix this.
I don't really have much to say to people.
I don't know why.
Clearly don't know anything about football, and the only thing they want to do is get
Oh, I
recognized for
clicked
being a
on the
troll.
wrong thing.
So that's all I really got to say because he's been coming in here week after week saying the same thing that legitimately his concept of winning 50-7, Bajent doesn't play defense. So how are we going to hold them to 3 less points by putting in a quarterback? Doesn't make any sense at all. So all I got to say is this is what trolls do. And he's going to keep coming back. And that's just how he is.
And I apologize. Like I said, I clicked on the wrong link, and I got them coming up now. Yeah, haters gonna hate, and I still got dudes. I got Bears fans. Like I said before, I pull up Caleb again. I got Bears fans who's rooting against Caleb. I got Bears fans who's
Then they're
rooting for
not a Bears
Jaden
fan.
Daniels or rooting for Justin Fields over Caleb Williams. It's
Plain
sickening.
and
It's
simple.
sickening to me. I don't
If
get it.
you are rooting against your team, you are not a fan.
Literally, because if they didn't like Caleb, or if they didn't like Justin, or if they liked Caleb and they didn't like Justin, or what if they wanted Daniels or they wanted Drake May, they're preying on Caleb's downfall so they can be right. You know what I mean? So they just so it can prove like,
Yep.
oh, well, I saw Jaden Daniels and I liked him, or I like Drake May over him, or I like Justin Fields and we should have did this. I want to be right, so I hope Caleb Williams does bad. You know what I mean? That is weird. But Judah is on a whole nother level. He's trying to come at his, uh, nail painting and stuff. We all can see what he's doing. But here's Caleb Williams again. Like I said, I clicked the wrong link. Here's our guy speaking. He's talking about the win. I'll rewind it a little bit. He's talking about the win that played a factor in this game.
DJ did a good job keeping it skinny, getting on the DB's toes, and then keeping it skinny. I saw the safety push over.
So you couldn't hear the video the entire time, Devin?
No, up until they just started talking about DJ, I couldn't hear
keeps
any
us
of
on
it.
the football field, being efficient, and then when you have those big plays, and things like that,
you should be able to hear him now. That's my bad, chat. That is all on me. That is all on me.
Yeah, so it's great for the football team and having those momentum swings and being able to keep it with the team that we have in defense and special teams and offense. Us playing together and playing like that, you're gonna win a lot of games.
You mentioned that touchdown that you hit the DJ. He said that you guys were waiting on one like that. First, what did you see in the matchup that him singled up? And second, how bad did you want to hit one of those for him?
Yeah, I've been wanting to hit one of those. DJ is such a special player, and y'all saw today him making plays. I think at one point he was 100 and something for a couple catches and things like that. So having a special player like that in your team, you obviously want to give him the ball, let him just be DJ and be special. So it felt really good. We were super excited. We get to the sideline. We both finally we were able to hit something like that. So the coverage pushed over when I made the check to the right.
I love when they talk
side.
about coverage and making checks.
DJ did a good job keeping it skinny, getting on the DB's toes, and then keeping it skinny. I saw the safety push over right before the snap when that happened, and they were adjusting to my check that I made, and then saw it happen. Safety pushed over, and then DJ obviously did a great job and made a great catch.
He's such a jack of all trades. He's such a jack of all trades, the receiver. To see him on the receiving end of that deep ball, does that unlock another level of this offense for you?
Yeah, definitely. Just us getting comfortable, us seeing what we can do, type of pass you can throw to him. He made it, just building the confidence and trust between each other, and trust in this offense between everybody, offensive line, running backs, protection, the routes, and what depth they're running it at, how many steps, and things like this, things like that, going through reads and a bunch more. So just we need to keep building, keep going. Obviously, great win, but definitely not settled on this.
You mentioned the sideline pass to Cole Kmet, and he was telling us in the locker room that he just was hoping he would catch it because it was like a slider coming in because of the wind.
Yep.
If it turned a little bit, he probably could have scored. Do we have the same thing?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad they brought that up because I was pissed that Cole fell on that. I was pissed.
Kind of caught the tail end of it, and it kind of wobbled on him, and great concentration by him. Corner or nickel bit on the route we had going to the flats, and saw it happen. Tried to, juice it in there a little bit because it was a little bit longer throw, especially on that side. The wind, I guess, kind of drops in and then just pushes the ball. And, Cole did a great job catching it, getting down. No, you're all good. All good.
What did you think of the play where you got hit out of bounds up in the air by Nick Scott?
Commercial comment.
Twisted Tea is a refreshing hard iced tea made with real blue tea.
Don't buy no twisted tea. I don't know. I wouldn't ever drink twisted tea.
Yeah. Got hit in the air. Thought it'd be a flag. I think I was out of bounds for a good little bit. Didn't happen. Got up. Play football.
Did you ask why it wasn't a flag?
I didn't ask. I just kept going.
No need to ask.
Kept trying to.
It was a
play football.
Flag, and they should have threw.
Go score, and we did a good job keeping the ball in our hands.
Before you were drafted, you talked about the idea of the excitement of going to a team that's picking number one, but in a good position there as a franchise. And to be in this spot, 3-2, you get a win here. What's the feeling for you as you guys kind of build forward?
Yeah, we definitely. The games even that we lost, we were right there. Most of them were just small details throughout the game that we were missing, and I think after those losses, and even after this week and the week before these wins. Us understanding, the leaders and things like that, understanding we got a lot of room to get better. We got a lot of things that we need to fix. Like this week, I think it was Thursday, we didn't have our best practice offensively. The next day, leaders, met kind of a little bit walking off the field on the offensive side and said we need to be better tomorrow. We came back the next day, locked in and focused, and obviously understanding the situation, and us just pushing each other for the next day, and it led into the game, I think. So like I always talk about, the personality and things like that of the team is going to continue to grow, but we're excited. We understand we got to keep growing and keep progressing, but definitely excited about being 3-2.
You guys had to look at each game and look at the steps of each game. You're 5 games in. How close does this style of play, the way that you play, look to the way you envision yourself playing in the NFL?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is understanding. I've talked about it multiple times. Understanding what the team needs, and taking what the defense gives you. I think today we did that. I think today overall, us as an offense, I think we did a tremendous job of, when we needed the big runs, we needed the screens, when we needed the explosive plays, whether it was after turnovers or 3 and outs on defense, or defense holding them to this and that, and us getting back on offense, and playing well together. I think that's definitely how we want to play. Definitely, what we envision as an offense and things like that, and as a team, we got to keep doing it.
Caleb, you guys head to London now. What do you think might be some of the challenges that come with this week, and what are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think it's not my first time going out the country, but first time playing in a place like this. So, I was checking out the game a little bit early on, the Vikings and Jets and things like that, and they showed a couple cool pictures and things like that of that game, and just excited to go and play there. Overall, I know those games are always packed, and so we're really excited. And then what was the second part of that?
Just any challenges you think maybe?
Yeah, definitely. You got to go out there,
I'm glad
and
he asked
I think it's
part. People be
a
scared to ask
7-hour time difference in London, maybe 6. So, yeah, 6.
It's 6 from here.
And so just adjusting that as fast as possible. I know the team and everybody's going to have and show us and teach us ways to be able to adjust to that real quickly. So we can, because obviously sleep and recovery is super important, and for everything, mental, all of that, to be able to recall all these plays that we have and be able to go out there and win. So I think that's the biggest challenge is the sleep and things like that. And, we have to do a good job with that.
You talked about
that's one
passing game, keeping defense honest. Running game's been going too. Talk about how you felt the impact of that helping you guys out.
Yeah, that's always something that we'll need to be able to throw the football, to be able to move the ball and things like that, is that run game, and following those guys up front is where we're going to keep doing. What we're going to keep doing is following them. Everything starts with them. Everything is going to end with them. I tell them that in big moments, or 4-minute drives, or 2-minute, that it's all on y'all. It's nothing to deal with us with the special guys, of the wide receivers, the running backs. It's always that the offensive line. They're the biggest part of the offense. I think today, these past couple of weeks, just building off of everything, whether it was a loss or a win, we need to keep building, keep progressing. They did a great job today. I told them that at the end of the game, that they did a great job in protection, the run game, and all of that. So it always starts with them and ends with them. Awesome. The Bears.
Okay. Well, it seems like Mark stepped out real quick, but I like what he's saying. I like that he's looking ahead at like the things that he needs to mentally prepare for going to London, because a lot of us have watched these London games and no team seems to handle them the same way. And so when it comes to being prepared for these London games, it's a lot trickier than you would think because of the big time difference. It's not like going from one side to the other of the country. Like, this is a very different kind of culture over there, as well as just being so far away. Everything is different about how you would prepare and handle things. It's not like you're just flying to LA and just going to your gate. Like, it is a different type of feel and vibe. So personally, I'm glad that they are all aware of it, and I really liked it. Matt Eberflus saying that they were going to go over there on Wednesday.
Yep.
Because one of the difficult parts about facing Jacksonville
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville plays in London a lot.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
do.
as it is this year, they played 2 games in London, one against us, and then they have a game in London the following week. It's a lot for people to go there, and Jacksonville does it more than just about any other team, I believe.
They do.
And they already understand what they need to do when they go there.
Right.
The coaching staff, the players that have experienced it. The Bears are kind of like, it's been a while since we've played in London, I think.
Last time we played in London, was it? Hold on. I feel like we went. We didn't go last year, did we? I feel like we went the year
Maybe the year
before.
before.
Yeah, maybe the year before. I don't know, but look, let's switch sides real quick. Just made me feel a little more comfortable. Get things back on track. I clicked the wrong button. Caleb had me so excited on what he was saying. I clicked the wrong button and exited out. But look, you have to listen to what the kid is saying, what he's talking about. Yeah, Bearski Film saying we played against the Raiders, I think, and I think we had Khalil Mack then. No. I think that was a different time. That was way back when. But look, Caleb Williams is aware of every single thing that goes on. If things may happen and we may be like, we Wes, look, things may happen and we may not know it, but or we may not think that they're aware, but they're aware. They know everything that's going on. They know everything that's being said. They know when they mess up on a route, or they know when they miss a throw, or whatever it is. We don't need to tell them. They trust me. They know, and they're fixing that all week.
And they probably know way more about it than we do.
Exactly.
They're in there looking at the film and looking at why they did this instead of that, and we're just seeing it live in game and moving on to the next play. And it's like they break everything down when it goes into that next week.
And Caleb spoke, and I'm glad he spoke on this. He spoke on the O-line. He said it for all the people who I'm bringing this up all year. I'm going to keep doing it. You know what I mean? And I have to, because we had a long off season and there was a lot of back and forth going on between fans. Caleb said it today, just now. The offensive line, and I don't care about the shiny toys of Keenan Allen, the shiny toys of Roma Dunze. Those are shiny toys. Caleb Williams just spoke and mentioned it starts with the offensive line. The biggest dudes on the field. And I saw Kyle Long, former offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears. He had a tweet out, Devin. He said the offensive line, with the exception of the defensive line, the offensive line is the most, that group, that unit. When we talk about units, there's no other unit on the field that has more players out there. You talk about a wide receiver unit, there's only about 3? You have 3, maybe even 4 max. 4 max. Running backs 1, quarterback 1, cornerback 2 or 3. You want 3 with the nickel, safeties, whatever. The offensive line room has the most guys out there on the field at any given time. It starts and ends with those dudes. I don't care about the shiny toys. Caleb can't get it to those dudes without that offensive line. And I'm glad Kyle Long, I should have had the tweet. I should have popped it up, but Kyle Long tweeted it out. Like, those dudes are like tanks. You know what I mean? They're like tanks. Why not have the best tanks out there? You have the most players on the field at any given moment. You have to have the best at it in that group. You know what I mean? Caleb Williams just spoke about it. He said you have to have, and Wes, you know what I'm talking about. His tank reference. You actually commented, Wes, and responded to him, Kyle Long. it starts and ends with the offensive line. I don't know how much I'm have to say it, but I'll keep saying it all season. I said it off season. Caleb will be successful if he has an offensive line, and I'm glad he pointed it out today. Any thoughts on what he had to say, Devin?
I'm with you in the sense that like he said that when it comes down to your offense, nothing can get done without an offensive line. Like you preach, you want to have a good run game, you want to have a good passing game, whatever the case may be. Like if you have a $1 million, I guess $1 million isn't really that big anymore. Like $1 billion quarterback, you can't do shit without an offensive line. So I'm very big on like him understanding that fully, and because like you hear about when they buy Christmas gifts and stuff like that, like usually they'll buy like a watch or something for their star receiver, but they go out there and they buy like ATVs or some shit for like, I know Patrick Mahomes always gets his O-line great gifts for Christmas and stuff like that, because those are the players that like they keep you safe and they make you capable of doing what you can do.
Exactly. And Mama Blues said, but I feel like at some point he should be good enough where a shitty O-line doesn't completely stop him, because we can't guarantee a good O-line. And we know as Chicago Bears fans, we can't guarantee a good O-line. And that's why I think Caleb Williams, I'm glad Mama Blues put that in the chat. That's my argument. Caleb Williams is the perfect quarterback. Justin Fields couldn't do it. We had a shitty O-line. Justin Fields couldn't overcome that shitty O-line. Me personally, and I could be wrong here after, year 3 or year 4, I don't think Jaden Daniels can overcome a shitty O-line either. He's just going to take off and run every time. This is just my thought, and based off the film I've seen from him, I think Caleb is the guy.
He has a decent O-line, it seems.
For sure. His O-line is better than ours.
At the current time, he does not have to deal with a shitty O-line. So it's hard to know what he would do, but we can say what he is doing without one.
Yes. And this is my whole thing with situation matters where rookies go. I think Caleb can put the cape on. And I said this last week, Devin, I think Caleb can put the cape on and overcome for the deficiencies as fans that we know the Chicago Bears organization puts on these quarterbacks. We don't have the best organization. Let's just admit it. We don't, and I think Caleb can overcome that. I'm glad he mentioned it in the O-line in his press conference.
I'm with Bearski Film here because I'm not a big Nate Davis fan, and at this point, I don't know anybody in Chicago who is a big Nate Davis fan. Maybe like if his family is here or something, but like he has not really been playing to the standard of what we kind of expected when we see his contract and stuff like that.
Right.
And I even more so agree in the fact that with this part where he says the difference is just effort alone.
Yes.
Like you're out there, like, yeah, I get that he got ejected. He needs to be able to keep a cool head and stuff like that. But like Matt Pryor getting in there, Matt Pryor getting ejected, and he needs to be able to keep a cool head. And Eberflus talked about that. But at the same time, he's probably thinking, I'm glad to at least see some type of fire from that position, from that right tackle.
I agree with you, and I agree with
that from Nate Davis.
No, and Nate Davis, he came in. You noticed, and correct me if I'm, because Tevin Jenkins left the game. They didn't bring in Nate Davis. Like they did last week, where they brought in Nate Davis. They brought in Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember last week when Tevin Jenkins went out, they brought in Nate Davis to go to right guard and they moved Pryor to left guard, right? They didn't do that this week. They didn't do
My
it.
bad. I said right tackle earlier and I meant right guard.
I mean, you're good, but we know what you're saying, but they didn't do that this week. You know what I mean?
They to me it seems like they looked at last week, and I had an issue with him right from the start when he came in last week, the way that he played. So, but like,
oh my God.
while we're talking about this O-line situation, there was something that I saw and I sent it into our group chat, and it was from one of the college games, and I know that like there's been a lot of talk about how Ryan Poles he was at the Georgia-Alabama game, I believe, last weekend. And people were talking about how he is out there scouting and looking at these linemen, probably on both sides because we have plenty of draft picks, but primarily focusing on the offensive side. And then I sent something in our chat that we have, and it was because I saw that there is an image of a guy, a left tackle, blocking two guys. He was blocking two guys, one in each hand, basically, and pushing them back. I don't really know what game it was from. His colors kind of made me think Alabama, but Alabama didn't do so well against Vanderbilt, so that might not have been the case.
There was a lot of upsets this week.
There was a lot of upsets, so it could have been from one of those smaller schools that he may have had a good game, and that may have helped. But when I'm looking at it and I see a comment saying this guy should start looking for apartments in Chicago, that makes me laugh because that's definitely something that we all talk about what we need and stuff like that. Like our offensive line needs some help. And I know that you are not the biggest Braxton Jones fan.
I'm not. And you saw the clip I posted last week.
And having a new guy come in might be a better situation, but the way that things are for the time being,
right?
I think we have at least we are at least able to be competitive enough, hopefully going forward. Because when you have a game like we did today, it kind of helps reinforce these guys and gives them a little confidence. I know that these guys are professionals; they shouldn't need the confidence, but it's how everybody is. You have so many bad games. You looking at the media, and they should be looking at the media like they do. But I mean, it's everywhere, and you constantly get seeing everything about how you suck at your job and all this other stuff.
Yep.
You having a game like today, it may remind you that you can keep doing this, and hopefully they're able to get better at that.
Like, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, the Black Bear Podcast. Got my guy Devin in the building, co-host. I'm the host, Mark Robb. And then if you didn't tune in earlier, my guy Chef West, another co-host, was here with us. You can find us every weekend. The Saturday shows pregame and then postgame Sunday football. After Sunday football. But look, it's a question going on in the chat that I kind of want to discuss real quick, and then we'll get into our game balls and we'll wrap this thing up. Where is the comment?
The one by Bear Truth?
Yeah.
Is it
that one? Yes, sir. Bear Truth said, what makes this defense go from very good to elite? And I'll tell you this. Stopping the run. Stopping the run makes this defense. We've given up, like I said, not exactly 100, but me personally, I don't care if it's 4 yards off, 5 yards off, or even 90 yards, to 100, 10 yards off. That's 100 yards to me. We given up 100 yards rushes.
You gave up a whole football field
in the last 3 games. You stop the run, this defense will become elite. That is what we need to do. The takeaways are there. The passing yards, passing stops are there. Everything is there except stopping the run. We stop the run, this defense will become elite. We will move from top 5 or top 6 or top 10, wherever y'all have us. We'll move to number 1 for sure. You stop that run, you hold rushers to what, 80 yards, 70 yards. Number one defense. It'll be elite. What you think, Devin?
I mean, that's the only aspect right now. I mean, see, the weird part was we were good at it last year. We were like leading the league in run defense. So I don't really know what happened. It may just I don't think that it was any of the players that are no longer part of the team that were just like absolutely amazing at it. I just think that maybe people have had more time to look at the Bears film and are able to kind of see some things and
make some changes. Yeah. So that's what I think. That's what has to happen before we can become elite. Mama Blue says whoever opposite of Jalen Johnson needs to get better covering because Jalen can't do everything. And that's what we talked about Stevenson last week, didn't we? Devin.
Yeah, I mean,
he has to get better.
He did well enough this week.
Yeah, he was solid today. Got to get better.
He did have a pass interference call that probably wasn't a whole lot of pass interference, but you got to clean that type of stuff up. But he still is only in his second year, so I kind of gotta give him the fact that he is the one that most teams pick on because of the fact that nobody wants to throw towards Jalen Johnson. Yes. He is the guy that most teams single out and pick on over and over again. And he has, in my opinion, he has lived up to the fact that he has really stepped up to kind of take on that load. Because like in some cases, if you don't have two good cornerbacks, one of them is going to look even worse because they are going to be picked on a lot.
So the way I look at it is Jalen Johnson took some time. He was a second round pick. Jalen Johnson was, and like you said, they're gonna go away from Jalen Johnson as much as they can. But Jalen Johnson was once where Tyreek Stevenson is now. You know what I mean? Second round pick, and he was next to Kyle Fuller. Jalen Johnson was, and now Tyreek is next to Jalen Johnson, who was established cornerback. He'll get better. I think he has to get better or he'll be replaced or he won't get that contract, that second deal, that second contract that most players want. I think he definitely gets picked on, and because you're going to be the one that's getting picked on, you should have
to step up.
Exactly. I think
basically make it so that teams can't really they have to pick on you, but they don't want to pick on you. Like they don't want to throw it in your direction, but they really don't want to throw it in Jalen Johnson's direction.
It's exactly a worse of two evils. But Wes said we are not bad at run stopping. We just need to be better. 13 carries, 97 yards. That's bad. That is bad in any world or a football analyst world or whatever. That is bad. 13 carries and you managed to get 97 yards. The run defense is not good. And then, like I said, Kyron Williams had 16 carries, 17 carries for 93, 94 yards. It has to be better. It just has to if you want to be elite. Otherwise, teams will use that, and then players will get undisciplined. The play action will start working because you can run the ball. That helps the play action. It has to be better. 3 weeks in a row, 100-yard rushing, that is not good. It's not good. He also said it's running backs going for 140 to 170 on a lot of other teams. We ain't a lot of other teams. We talking about the Bears. I don't care what the other league team is doing. If we're gonna talk about other teams, we could talk about Jaden Daniels. We're not talking about other teams. We're talking about us. The Bears need to. We didn't give up 100 yards rushing last year. Is what I'm saying. You have to get that back down. Teams are running the ball on us. We're probably middle of the pack. Middle of the pack is not good enough. 17, 15, 16, that's not good enough. We need to be top 5, top 10, top 7. You know what I mean, Devin?
I feel that. I mean, see, we expect a lot of our defense because it has always been a staple of Chicago is their defense. So we kind of have always come to expect a good, like when we made it to the Super Bowl against the Colts, it wasn't because of our offense.
Right.
It was because of our defense and our special
Mhm.
teams.
Yep.
Like those areas have always kind of been a very strong point for us. So I get it that like we expect a lot, and I understand what Wes is saying, that we're still doing well holding
For
teams,
sure.
but when you can expect the best of them, like that's what you want.
I just know we faced Derrick Henry this year. We probably get destroyed by that type of runner. We face some pretty good runners, but there are better runners. And the Packers, if I'm not mistaken, are number 2, and they're in our division in running the ball. So we have to get better. We have to. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. We're 17th or 18th. The Packers are number 2 in running the football. We have to get better. If we let the Packers run the ball on us, come on now. It's Jahmyr
And
Gibbs,
we
David
still got
Montgomery.
we also, I mean, also the Vikings, like they got what's his name, Aaron Jones,
Yes,
dude
the
from
Vikings.
that was from the Packers last year. When I was watching the Vikings game this morning, which was a really early game, and that's going to be tough for us next week. But when I was watching that game this morning, like every time he got the ball, they were going for quite a bit. Like he was going for quite a bit of yards. Now, anytime the other running back got the ball, it was kind of hit or miss. And then they had that one like fumbled ball that they ran back for a touchdown or something like that. Like that was bad. But all I'm saying is like our conference or our division is going to be tough.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we have this back half of the season that will be difficult
Oh my
if
Jesus.
we can't stop the run. That is how they will beat us. Like they got Jared Goff. Jared Goff can throw, but if we have good coverage, I mean, we have done well against the Lions past few years, anyways.
Yes.
So defensively, he's not going to want to throw as much against us. So they're going to run a lot, and
Hopefully.
and if they run a lot, we haven't really shown that we can stop a really good run team.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I said, we beat the Colts if we stop the run. Jonathan Taylor, we let their best player. I don't know why we didn't game plan for Jonathan Taylor, but we be 4-1 right now. But we let Jonathan Taylor run all over us, and their quarterback is Anthony Richardson. Why are we scheming for Anthony Richardson instead of stopping the run? Like that don't sit well with me.
Well, now the Colts quarterback is Joe Flacco. So
And now it's Joe Flacco. So we got to stop the run. I mean, West put it in there, and I was wrong. He said we're 8th or 9th right now. That's still not good enough. That's not good
I mean
enough.
that's
Not to be
passable
elite.
for other people.
Yeah.
It's not passable for the Bears.
It's not
they
elite.
were they were number 1 last year, and dropping down to 8th or 9th, it's rough. But I mean, I can see why it works against us. We got to figure something out, and
for sure.
I'm sure that the coaches right now, they are not pleased with how the running is, or how the rush defense is. So I'm guessing they'll be looking at that for the next few weeks. And when it comes to the bye week, that will probably be a big factor of what they're going to deal with.
I agree with that. Bye week gonna be important. Let's give out some game balls, and then we'll wrap this up. Game balls. Offense, defense. If you want to give out one, you don't think everybody else deserve it. However you want to give out.
I want to give out plenty because this game just had so many.
However you want to give them out, we can give them out. Go ahead, give out your first one, and I'll follow you up.
I'm gonna start with defensive side. I'm gonna have to give one to Gervon Dexter. He's been playing really well. He had that fumble recovery. He had a full sack, but even more so, it wasn't that his one sack, which is what he's credited with statistically.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's 2 half sacks. So he was a big factor in 2 sacks. So it's not like he just got 1 sack. Him going out there and him assisting on 2 sacks.
Yep.
Like that, to me, that deserves him a game ball. Like he's been playing really well, and this game was kind of a big thing for him.
I see Bear Truth in the chat saying wrong one. Caleb Williams, we gave him a couple game balls. It's a lot of game balls that can go around. You started with the defense, Devin. I'm gonna start with the offense. I'm gonna go DJ Moore. I'm gonna go DJ Moore with the guy I had a bone to pick with.
Yeah.
I'm going there. And like I said, of course, it's gonna be smiles and a lot of teeth being shown when you're playing good. But I had the bone to pick with him, and he played a good game. He played a hell of a game today. That catch in the end zone, like I said, most times, Devin, they're going to show the replay 62 times to see if that ball moved when they went to the ground. That ball did not move when he went to the ground. That is what we paying him for. He's really good at what he does. He does his job better than anybody else. I'm sure CD Lamb and all those guys do their job well. He does it just as good. DJ Moore gets my offensive game ball, at least that one. Who you got next?
I mean, Mama Blues is out there, and I agree with her. Like Swift had a heck of a game today. As far as like when you combine his rushing and receiving yards, throwing in the fact that he has struggled to like really get his footing, and the last 2 games he has just broken out, and I'm very happy about the fact that he got his touchdown after he got all the way down to that 1 yard line, and then they were still able to get him into the end zone. Might have happened a couple times, but he got a touchdown today. He got a touchdown last week. He's kind of getting into a groove as one of the running backs that we utilize. And I'm very happy about the fact that Swift is finally living up to his name. He definitely was looking pretty swift out there.
He looks swift as fuck out there. And I like this comment from Wes. Offense Swift, defense Brisker. Go ahead, Devin. Keep going.
I was just saying, like, watching him on one of those passes where he was behind the offensive lineman who was out blocking for him, and he couldn't just run right past him because he needed that block. And so he was just dodging and weaving back and forth, kind of like a car waiting to like get around somebody, like
jump in and out of lanes.
Like when you're drifting behind somebody so that you can kind of use the speed, and then when you get the chance, you slingshot around them.
Slingshot forward.
And I meant to say drafting. And he looked like he was just like bouncing back and forth to kind of make sure that he kept his momentum and the ability to do like a little jump to the side or back if he needed to. He definitely seems to be kind of coming into his own here in Chicago. Very happy to see that.
He moving a little different. I love what I'm seeing right now. We got the Jags in London next week. You can catch us here next weekend, breaking down that London game as well. That's an early game. It'll be 8:30 for us here. Like I said, we'll watch it and we'll be here to break it down for you. Defensively,
my alarm for that one.
Oh, you and me both. Trust me. Ain't no waking up on your own for that game next week. I'm definitely setting the alarm. Defense for me, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Brisker, just like Wes put in the chat. I'm gonna go Brisker. That hit was amazing. There's two. I was linebacker. I played linebacker. I played a lot of years at linebacker. For me, there's 2 mottos I live by. Helmets to the football. That's what was instilled in me. Helmets to the football. And then the second one is no matter the yards, hit them hard. I don't care if you get a 15-yard catch, hit them hard. I don't care if it's a 25-yard catch, you better hit them hard. You know what I mean? That's what
I don't care if
Jaquan
it's a
Brisker
negative 2-yard catch. Hit him
hit
hard.
his ass hard. And Jaquan Brisker did that. He came up from the safety spot. He's a strong safety. So he came from the other side, came up on the right side of the field and smacked that dude, hit him hard. May have took some damage himself, but hey, that's what you're getting paid to do. You know what I mean? So no matter the yards, hit him hard. And that's what he did. Jaquan Brisker, and he was all over the field today. He was all over the field last week. I love what we're getting out of our safeties. Byard had the pick. Our safeties are playing really good to me. So I'm gonna give
And
my
there are a
defense this-
couple instances that I remember seeing Byard up there. They tried a little like pass off to the side behind the sticks, and Byard was the only defender there, and he was able to wrap them up and kind of stop them before getting a first down. If Byard had missed that tackle, like if that was Eddie Jackson, I think that would have gone for another 20, 30, 40 yards.
Stiff arm him and keep going.
I'm sorry to say, because Eddie did well for us for a little while, but it just, in the end, the problem was he couldn't make open field tackles alone. Like, he couldn't make them with other people, but he couldn't make them alone. And Byard got that tackle when nobody else was around. He held on, kind of pulled him to the ground, and did what he, like, got him down. And when you see that type of play, it's like, okay, so they gained 3 or 4 yards, but they didn't get the first down.
So Wes put in the chat, give Flus 1-2. He won the game exactly how he should have. My thing with giving Flus 1, and Devin, you may give him 1. I won't, because I still need to see a play on the defense where it's like, wow, Flus drew that up perfect. Flus dialed up the blitz perfect there. You know, Flus. You know what I mean? I need to give Flus the credit instead of player because of the scheme that he did. And we talked about this last week, Devin. I still have not had a time where I'm like, wow, Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan really drew that up or whatever. I need to feel that from Flus. Like, oh, Flus really dialed up that on, and he confused the quarterback. I haven't seen that from Flus. And another thing, the best quarterback he's beaten is Matthew Stafford, and that came last week. Other than that, it was Jared Goff, Anthony Richardson, and a bunch of other dudes that I don't even remember the name of, but he hasn't beaten top quarterbacks. The best ones are Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. So I can't give it to Flus. I can't give him a game ball yet. I'll give him coach, though. Coach of the game.
I mean, personally, I kind of agree with Wes in the sense that not only did you win against the team that you're supposed to win, but you dominated them in the way that I don't think that it was expected. Like, we're expected to win this game, sure, but we weren't expected to come out here and win 36-10.
No,
or whatever we ended up having.
No, we were not. I agree.
Like, we were clicking in every way, and to me, there were. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, I was like, when they went to kick one of the field goals, I was thinking, I hope Wes burns one of our timeouts to try and ice the kicker. But see, then they went and kicked the field goal, and they missed it anyways. And I said, well, like, I think it was at the end of the half. They had marched their way down, and they were going to go ahead and try and kick a field goal. It was going to be a long. And I was like, I really hope that Flus uses up one of our timeouts, because you can't take them with you into the next half.
Yep.
And you go ahead and ice the kicker, but he missed anyways. So, I mean, if you ice the kicker in that sense, well, it may work the opposite way. So I would have been the one of those ones who made the wrong decision to call a timeout right before he kicked, only for him to miss, and then he gets another shot at it. And that is where you make a bad decision as a coach.
Right.
You know? Like, if I had called the timeout and he missed it the first time, and then he gets another shot at it, and now he knows what not to do, well, then that's on me because then he gets the points.
A second chance.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I just can't give Eberflus that grade until I see the things I'm seeing from Matt LaFleur or Sean McVay or Kevin O'Connell in our division, or even Dan Campbell when he goes for it on fourth down so many goddamn times. I need to see it. I need to see you do something because I feel like this defense will be the same without him here. That's just my opinion. I feel like the bodies are there for to make plays, and I think they'll make plays with or without him. That is my opinion. Any more game balls you got to give out, Devin, before we get up out of here?
I mean, did we give one to Caleb? Because I mean, I feel like he deserves one.
He deserves one. We gave him some in the previous. Just I mean, mine went.
We gave him some praise there. I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, I guess if we want to look at like the game balls of people who did well, then he deserves one. But as far as game balls of people who did well, but we maybe hadn't highlighted them as much, like then those players, like they the thing is, it was just such a team effort. Like we spread the ball around with all of our wide receivers,
right.
Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett. Like we got everybody touch it. The only person I think that we didn't get a touch to that was kind of out there a few times is Mercedes Lewis, but you don't really expect him to be out there making catches. But I mean, I could say we could give one to Shane Waldron in the fact that like there was an instance where he had 3 tight ends out there helping block.
Shane could get one.
Like he definitely rearranged how he thought of the game. Like you utilizing the people and realizing, like Wes has been saying and you've been saying, like knowing your personnel and shit like that. Like
KYP,
you know that your offensive line struggles. They can't necessarily give you all that time. Go ahead and throw a couple of tight ends in there for blocking. And there was one of the runs that DJ Moore was out in front blocking. Gerald Everett was out there blocking, and Cole Kmet, I think, was blocking as well. And it allowed just a little bit of space for Swift to get a few extra yards. And sometimes that's the difference between a first down and having to punt.
So Shane, look, my thing with Shane is he could get one too. He could get one, but I don't know. We hired Waldron because he can adapt. A lot of people don't know that, but one of the things
that was one of the things I hated about Getsy was his inability to adapt.
Yes. Yep.
And
Getsy couldn't do it.
And the fact that I have seen so far in the first few games, I was worried that we were in the same situation. Somebody who keeps trying the same things and they don't work.
Yep. That's called insanity.
Yes, it is.
So look, I could get, like I said, Waldron dialed up a great game, but I mean, we could have gave Waldron the coach for top performers, you know what I mean? But no, I'm leaving the coaches out of it. Waldron was hired because he can adapt, and they wanted somebody who can adapt. Like Getsy couldn't adapt with Justin, whether it was dialing up runs or dialing up this or that in the third. He couldn't really do it. He wanted to stick to what he was, his scheme, what he was used to doing. And we see Waldron adapting to the team he has, regardless of the scheme he wants to run. You can't run it if you don't got the personnel to do it. Run it next year when you have the players to do it. But for now, you have to work with what you got, and you can't run that. So Waldron has been adapting over these last couple of weeks and running things that the offensive line specifically, can run. So, I mean, I'm not going to give him a game ball for that. You've been doing this for a long time, so you should have been doing that. But that's just me. Yeah. Any last words before we wrap this thing up?
I'm just really glad that we got this win. We have 2 in a row. We continued our win streak at home. I think it's up to like 8 games now. And I mean, that is a huge factor of the fact that like we have some pretty pretty great fans, and the fact that even with the struggles that we've had with this year and the struggles we had last year, like we have 8 wins at home, like 8 wins in a row at home. And so we like to play well for our fans at home.
Yes, sir. And home field advantage, in which will play a big role in when we get into these division games. Home field advantage will matter a lot. So look, appreciate y'all tuning in to the Black Bear Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Rod, with my co-host, Devin. You can follow us on Twitter, watch us on Facebook, and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We're here every weekend doing pregame shows on Saturday and postgame shows on Sunday. We like to have some little fun doing it, but a lot of insight on the Chicago Bears from us. We like to be very interactive with the chat as well. We get the chats up, and we like to send a conversation in ways we kind of didn't expect for the show. So like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, the Black Bear Podcast. One word, no spaces. If that's all you got, Devin, then we gonna go ahead and sign off and have a good victory Monday tomorrow for y'all.
Gonna go watch the Steelers playing in Monday night or Sunday night football.
About to go, yeah, me too. I'm about to go watch Justin Fields play too. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night, and bear down.